The Answer. WIND, Chicago.
A lot of the country is in an icebox. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. Is the coldest blast of winter in some areas in decades.
Minneapolis with the overnight low on Thursday at -31. That is the air temperature. So dangerously cold, potentially deadly cold.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean, wind chills from the Dakotas to Illinois will reach 50, maybe 60 below in the next few days. It's prompting schools and businesses to close with worry about frostbite and hypothermia. The South isn't being spared either. They'll get snow, maybe several inches across Mississippi and Alabama over to Atlanta. Georgia's governor's closed state offices. Nearly 1,000 flights are canceled today, a lot of them to and from either Chicago or Atlanta. The biggest utility company in the U.S., PG&E, filed for bankruptcy protection early this morning in California after hundreds of lawsuits were filed over deadly wildfires.
Facing at least $30 billion in potential liabilities as investigators look into whether the company's equipment played a role in starting a series of these fires that burned hundreds of thousands of acres over a 2-year period.
Fox Business Network Cheryl Casoni. 2 police officers in Houston are in critical but stable condition among the 4 cops shot and wounded. A 5th suffered a knee injury.
Serving a search warrant at a home that police describe as a hub for drug dealers. Police adding that a tip from a neighbor led officers there, but when they arrived, they immediately came under fire. Police eventually shooting and killing 2 suspects.
That's Fox's Todd Pyro. President Trump was supposed to tell us the State of the Union tonight, but that was delayed by the partial government shutdown, now over. It's been rescheduled.
Yesterday, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and President Trump talked about the address over the phone and made it official in a letter, with Pelosi writing, "In our conversation today, we agreed on February 5th. President Trump replied, "It is my great honor to accept. We have a great story to tell and yet great goals to achieve."
Fox's Garrett Tenney. This is Fox News.
Temperatures are rapidly dropping this morning. We've gone from 8 degrees above to 3 degrees above in the space of about 17 minutes this morning. It's 5:02 on your clocks and watches on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Preparations are underway as Chicago is bracing for what could be record-breaking cold weather starting tonight and into tomorrow. Mayor Rahm Emanuel says the city has all hands on deck.
City workers across agencies and departments have been working around the clock, and they will continue to do that throughout the week. This is a coordinated and comprehensive response to the weather.
Dozens of warming centers throughout the city and throughout Cook County have been opened as a safety precaution. People are urged to limit their time outdoors and allow time for extra travel. Brutal cold impacting millions across the Midwest and Great Lakes, causing the cancellation of hundreds of flights. Pat Conant and her husband were trying to fly from O'Hare to Denver yesterday.
We went online to find out that it was canceled, and we've been scrambling to try to get home today because he has a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
Forecasters say temps in Chicago will drop well below zero beginning tomorrow night, much colder than that in the western and southern suburbs. Wind chills could hit as low as -55. Chicago Public Schools are closed tomorrow as the frigid temps are set to slam the area. DePaul University's Lincoln Park and Chicago Loop campuses closed tonight. And tomorrow, the Evanston, Chicago campuses of Northwestern University are closed tonight through noon Thursday. There are many, many, many other colleges and schools and agencies and activities closing or being hampered by the cold. EmergencyClosingCenter.com. EmergencyClosingCenter.com. Metro will be operating a modified schedule tomorrow as a result of that extreme cold. Schedules at MetroRail.com. South Shore officials announcing that the South Shore line will run fewer trains during Wednesday and Thursday's sub-zero wind chills. On those same days, the railroad will provide bus service between Michigan City and South Bend. Officials are warning that those canceled flights will be a major headache for the entire country because the entire country is sending planes to the Super Bowl host city, Atlanta. Midway's a huge base for Southwest. O'Hare, a major hub for United and American. And since everything runs through here to Atlanta, looks like things could be gummed up if your destination is the Super Bowl. Man is dead after he was hit by a snowplow in north suburban Libertyville. The village plow truck ran into the man yesterday in the 600 block of Bridal Court. A Kenosha man faces a reckless homicide charge in the death of a state trooper earlier this month. Police say Scott Larson was driving the black Jeep that struck and killed Trooper Chris Lambert while he was investigating a crash on the Tri-State Tollway near Glenview. A man accused of shooting a police officer during a standoff over the weekend on Chicago's far north side is being held without bail. Swale Muhammad appeared in court yesterday on 3 counts, each of attempted murder of a police officer and aggravated discharge of a firearm. In a follow-up to a story we told you about last week, the family of a Cook County Sheriff's deputy killed in a crash while on his way to work may not receive benefits. Nick Theophanopoulos, who is being buried today, was in uniform last Monday when a drunk driver struck him in his vehicle in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood. Deputies' co-workers are saying that the sheriff's department has determined that their colleague was technically not on duty, denying him some benefits. A Central Illinois nursing home this morning closing its doors. They say it's because the state of Illinois doesn't pay enough to care for those who live there. Managers at the Leroy Manor say Illinois' low Medicaid reimbursement rates are forcing them to close. Children as young as 12 could soon be charged as adults with attempted murder in Indiana. State Senate yesterday overwhelmingly approving a new plan that lowers the age for attempted murder charges. Current law says kids younger than 14 cannot be charged as adults. That prevented prosecutors from seeking more jail time for a 13-year-old who shot a classmate and a teacher at Noblesville West Middle School last May. Prosecutors say they may be ready to go to trial against the Mishawaka, Indiana teen accused of killing his pregnant girlfriend last June. A judge has set 16-year-old Aaron Trio's trial date for June 20th of this year. Students are concerned after another racial slur was found written in a dorm at DePaul University. This follows a number of racially charged incidents that were reported in 2018. The White Sox are teaming up with Goose Island Beer to add a special section at Guaranteed Rate Field next season. Goose Island section will open up in the right field bleachers. The new space includes running water fixtures on all sides to create an island feel out in right field. First few rows providing a modernized game day experience with cushioned seats, device charging points, and television screens. Why the television screens? You're there to watch a baseball game. Bulls are in Brooklyn tonight to play the Nets. Chicago's dropped 3 in a row, but that's the plan. Blackhawks start the second half of the season Friday night on the road against Buffalo. College hoops. Notre Dame spanked by number 2 Duke, 83-61. Tonight, Northwestern is at number 24 Maryland, and our Northern Illinois Huskies take on the Ohio Bobcats. The news, a service of Peloton, live studio classes in the comfort of your home. Whether it's a monthly challenge to meet your goals, a training program for your next race, or setting a new personal best, the Peloton bike will make you want to show up and keep climbing that live leaderboard year-round. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 5:08 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Marvel Residences Luxury Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. It's a beautiful, all-inclusive resort located between Rainforest Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport.
My name is Sophia, and my mom is one of the 220,000 in Illinois living with Alzheimer's. I'm constantly thinking about her, and when I heard 60% of those diagnosed with Alzheimer's will wander at some point, I was worried. Silver Search is a new tool in Illinois to help locate those missing with Alzheimer's or another dementia. Go to silversearchillinois.org to learn more on how Illinois is working to protect its citizens and learn how you can help.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
You probably don't realize this, but between you and your employer, you've contributed as much as 12.4% of your earnings to Social Security, and you've been doing this since your very first paycheck as a kid. Add it up over 40 or 50 years, and it could make your 401k contributions look like chump change. But there's one big problem. Claiming your Social Security benefits is complicated, confusing, and riddled with trapdoors. Hi, this is Tom Fortino. According to PBS and Boston University professor Lawrence Kotlikoff, the Social Security Handbook has 2,278 separate rules governing its benefits, and it has thousands upon thousands of explanations of those rules. Talk about a user's nightmare. Learn how you can help get what's yours. The answers are in our new reports on maximizing your Social Security benefit. It includes little-known strategies that could earn you tens of thousands of dollars more, even as much as $100,000 over your lifetime. This could be a game changer. Call right now to receive this information. 630-519-4742. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
At the CMA Foundation, we believe every child should have the access and opportunity to participate in quality music programs. I'm Sarah Evans. Music has always been a huge part of my life. Music education isn't just important if you're going to make it your career. It also helps children develop the abilities that set them up for lifelong success. Music is transformative, and I want to ensure that it is never silenced. Learn more at itstartswithme.org.
Want to recharge when you travel for business? Get a boost and stay at La Quinta by Wyndham. You can charge 5 devices in-room and recharge yourself with a pillow top mattress and a bright side breakfast. Book now at lq.com and win at business.
5:11. Let's get an update on the early morning roads in the AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On Chicago's northwest side, Peterson is closed between Kedzie and Central Park Avenue to a water main break. Adams Tollway eastbound I-90 east of Elmhurst Road. A stall blocked in the right lane. Traffic fairly light in the area. Reagan Tollway eastbound before Myers crash. This is in the right lane. It is west of the Myers Road toll plaza in that area. The other expressways and tollways look pretty good right now. We don't have the snowfall like we did yesterday. Roads are in better shape. The incoming Arctic blast. Get those winter emergency kits ready. No issues right now on the Chicago expressways. Northwest Indiana roads look good too. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A wind chill advisory today. Windy and cold, clouds and sun, the high 3. Clear, breezy, quite cold tonight and a low at minus 24. For tomorrow, sunny, brisk, a bitter cold day with a high at minus 13. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
3 below at O'Hare. It is 8 along Chicago's lakefront. And right now, 2 in Aurora with a wind chill of minus 20. Your next news update is at 5:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
Don't forget that you can watch Chicago's Morning Answer on the Income Store live video stream every morning at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Of course, cold is the big story. It's so cold that Chicago politicians have their hands in their own pockets. Hi-yo.
Wait, and let me say, how cold is it?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
And we shouldn't come to work tomorrow. It's a safety hazard.
Why?
We could do a phoner. Because it's going to be minus 52 wind chill factor, which my sister called windshield factor, and until she was 45 because she thought it was the temperature of the wind hitting the windshield of your car. And I had to let her know it was the wind chill factor, the real feel temperature.
If I didn't know you were sisters, I would have guessed that person is your sister. You know what I mean?
Stop it.
Do you see what I'm getting
I
at?
get what you're saying. But, no, I really don't think we should come to work tomorrow. And I need to know what to do with my cats because my mom called me last night and told me that I should say goodbye to them.
Keep them indoors?
They're going to die. No, I tried to get them indoors yesterday. That didn't work well. I put on the gloves and had a face protector because they're feral cats.
Oh, well,
they don't want to come.
When they come in for food, you just set the trap, the door closes.
I don't have that trap anymore.
Well,
they have to stay together. But what if they bolt out the door and they never see them again?
Did you ever watch a Tom and Jerry cartoon? It is not difficult to rig this trap to close a door when they come in.
But I already feed them tuna, so I don't think they'll fall for the tuna game. Cats are kind of smart. So,
yeah.
But I did figure out how to keep the raccoons out. You ready? I shut the door.
Is that right?
I did what you said.
That seems to be working.
I made sure that they were both in there. I have kitty litter for them. I have the heated water bowl. I have the heated pads. I have the igloos for them. And then I shut the door so that the raccoons...
Walls work, doors work.
And then yesterday I put towels and blankets in the little crack, where the garage meets the pavement just to make sure that the wind doesn't blow in and make it even colder in there. But I think I need to set up a space heater in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Fire in Lakeview predicted for a week's end. Also,
they don't tip it over.
This is also happening in addition to your travails with the wildlife.
Oh, yeah. And no school Wednesday. They already canceled school Wednesday.
Sort of like the partial government shutdown. Will anybody notice?
Hey-o.
The quality of education at CPS is the same whether the schools are open or closed.
Peyton's getting straight A's. He had finals yesterday. And
what is that? So he knows the alphabet?
Hey. He's getting 148% in physics. And I said, how is that even possible? And he said, with extra credit. And he shows up to class.
That grade is a physical impossibility in physics. Where does he go? He goes ombudsman?
No, Amundsen.
Oh, yeah.
Amundsen. And then, today's Eli's birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
He's
Eli.
14 years old. I'm old.
You grew up so fast.
I know. In 2 years, he could drive. Peyton can drive next year. Shh, don't tell him.
The good news is that you've got only 4 years left, and then you can, pull the ripcord.
I know, isn't that so crazy? I'm on
just
the clock.
Tick
goes the clock.
Keep crossing those days off on the calendar. Also, did you see this? Chicago police reporting a spat of gunpoint robberies where people are stealing other people's Canada Goose jackets.
Oh, because those things are thousands of dollars.
Hot item.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you're going to steal...
Have you tried one on yet?
If you're going to steal the high tops, you might as well steal the Canada Goose jacket while you're at it, right?
Oh, so how are they? They're just at gunpoint? They're, give me your jacket? Really? No one else is around to help out?
They say, I have a gun, I want that jacket, and then the person wearing the jacket who doesn't have a gun turns it over.
I see what's going on there.
Sure. Yeah, how about that? Coats retail from $500 to $1,200 according to the website.
The longer ones, the ones that you need, are $1,200.
Do you have one of those?
No, they don't fit me well. It's not flattering for my figure. I go to the tall girl store, the big biatch store that we used to call it, and get my.
Is it just tall girls or is it big and tall girls?
You know what, Dan? There's Lane Bryant, and then there's the tall girl store. Okay.
So Lane Bryant, that's where JB goes, and then you go to the tall girl store.
The tall girl store, yes. But yeah, no, they're warm, but it doesn't fit me well.
And by the way, just on the cold, we have to correct the record from yesterday. You guys had me all discombobulated. It wasn't, if the coldest day was in 85, January of 85, that wasn't the Bears Super Bowl run. Because the Bears Super Bowl run was 85, 86.
Oh,
so
right.
So the Super Bowl.
It was the year before.
Yeah.
So tomorrow is going to be the coldest temperature of our generation.
Maybe.
No, it's going to be minus 24, right, Mike? And then with the wind chill, it's going to be anywhere from minus 45 to minus 60, I heard.
The wind chills will be the coldest in a generation.
Or as we say, wind shields.
Yes.
At our family.
Well, some in the Midwest do. The temperature is minus 27. That's the record. We likely will not break that generational number. It'll probably stick at 24.
Yeah, I use dark sky. I use Mike Scott, and then I use dark sky when Mike Scott's not around. Dark sky has minus 25. Low of minus 25 and a high of minus 13.
Oh, my God. Anybody want to come help me trap my cats?
No.
And they'll scratch your eye out.
But here's the crazy thing. I got a text from a buddy of mine. You want to play golf on Sunday? I'm like, play golf on Sunday. What are you talking about?
It's
He's
going
like,
to be 40.
Yeah. And Monday, it's going to be 50 right now.
Yeah. We can make a tea time for Monday. Let's go. I'd like to meet your buddy.
I bet your dad's going to play Sunday.
Of course,
Monday.
my dad will play Sunday and Monday.
But where are they going to play? It's going to be mud.
Well, that's all right. My dad.
Olympia's open all year round, but of course you have to be a member.
Oh, or know a member. Hey, how hard was it for you today to walk to your? Don't you have a heated garage?
It's just another day.
Yeah, just get off the elevator and walk into the heated garage. Must be nice.
Well,
I
don't really walk. I'm carted.
Oh, you're carted?
Yeah.
Movable sidewalk.
Sort of like Cleopatra.
Oh, that.
Yeah, I brought to my car in that fashion. So just,
I don't think we should go to work tomorrow. What if our car breaks down? Any one of our cars. And I'm not just talking about me.
Our car.
Well, I mean your car or your car.
Yeah.
Or Justin's or Quinn's car.
Everybody else's car is from this century, so we're fine.
Do you have heated steering wheels, too, on your car?
No, but I mean, just the seats is
Oh, you have heated seats?
Well.
Big
heated
shooter.
seats.
Yeah.
Mine's a 2004. I've got heated seats. But I have leather, so that's why I have heated seats.
Yeah. Sorry. Welcome to, Amy's 1977 El Camino. Didn't have that technology. All right, so the point is, look, golf weather's just around the corner, so stop your crybaby bedwetting over the next 2 days. Just, hunker down and get through it.
I'll give you a winter prediction. It's going to be cold, it's going to be gray, and it's going to last you for the rest of your life.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, I'm attorney Stephen Leahy, and I help business owners, 1099 employees, and those with unfiled tax returns solve their IRS problems. And I'm also the host of the IRS Radio Hour.
And I'm Jim Leahy, the co-host of the IRS Radio Hour, heard right here every Sunday evening at 5 on AM 560.
The Answer. I know you want a local attorney you can look in the eye and hold accountable for solving your IRS problem, not some big box outfit without a Chicago connection. So today we have a special offer. A good night's sleep.
A good night's sleep? Are you trying to give away a pillow?
Great guess, Jim. But no, I want to help people solve the problems that are keeping them up at night. If you fear the IRS will take away your money, freeze your bank account, garnish your wages, visit your home or job, and now they can take away your passport, you need to hire me to solve your IRS problem for good.
Call attorney Stephen Leahy, your Chicago IRS answer man at 312-664-6649, 312-664-6649, and get the IRS out of your business and your life for good.
It's so cold out. How cold is it? Google's frozen. You like that?
It's a terrible Johnny Carson.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Can
and an even worse Johnny Carson audience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing home? Then you need to call Team Hochberg. And to provide listeners with additional financing options and lower rates, Team Hochberg is now doing loans with Homeside Lending. Team Hochberg's Chicago-based loan officers and in-house underwriters can approve loans within days of receiving a complete file from their borrowers. And in the coming weeks, David will highlight Homeside's new loan programs like cash-out refinances up to 95% of the value of your home with a minimum 680 credit score. Wow. And construction to permanent loans on both FHA and VA loans. Team Hochberg's new toll-free number is, are you ready? 855-56-DAVID or online at 56david.com. Team Hochberg loan officers David Hochberg, Kevin Kochman, Lynn Trakajutongdong.
That's technically a hate crime.
No,
what you just did.
Try it. Lynn
Takrudatong.
Okay, show off. Jose Rodriguez, Scott Ellis,
on phonics.
Cindy Piazza, J.P. Marzano, Thomas Byrne, and Anna Eckroth have helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but they can't help you if you do not call 855-56-DAVID or visit 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 6761019, NMLS 124061.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
If you're young and healthy, you don't need life insurance, right? Yeah, that's what I used to think, too. Until my brother died at 38. Joe left his wife with 2 kids, a mortgage, and a stack of bills she couldn't pay. Mary had to sell the house and move everybody into this tiny 2-bedroom apartment just to make ends meet. I never want to do that to my wife, so I got life insurance. I called AIG Direct and was really surprised how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. Listen, if you have a family, you should seriously think about getting life insurance. You'll feel a lot better having it, trust me.
Call AIG Direct for a free, no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you could save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-600-9519. That's 1-800-600-9519. 1-800-600-9519.
Hi, it's Amy Jacobson with a great way to start a new year. Get the MyPillow 4-pack. You'll be so happy with 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, plus free shipping. All for the normal price of 1 premium MyPillow. You know, I've been telling you for years that they're the best pillows money can buy. The bottom line is you will sleep better and feel better. MyPillow is washable, dryable, and has a money-back offer if you're not happy. And here's more good news. You can still get 30% off everything else, including the MyPillow mattress topper and pet beds that you've heard me rave about. Just be sure to use the promo code Amy to get the MyPillow 4-pack offer with free shipping and the 30% discount on everything else, including mattress toppers and pet beds. Visit MyPillow.com or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. And don't forget to use the promo code Amy. That's MyPillow.com, promo code Amy.
AM 560, The Answer.
You're as cold as ice. You're willing to sacrifice our love.
Dan and Amy, and speaking of cold, it'll be a cold day in hell before Howard Schultz is ever elected president of the United States, but the former Starbucks CEO is still considering it. How's he being received? You know, he's on a book tour right now.
Oh, yeah. Did you hear what happened to him?
Ground Up. Do you get it? That's the name of his autobiography.
Well, the Democrats are saying if he runs, it's a guaranteed victory for President Trump.
Yeah, they've unleashed the hounds on Howard Schultz to try and push him out. There's he had one columnist suggesting everybody boycott Starbucks until Howard Schultz says he's not going to run. Here's how Howard Schultz was treated by one heckler at his book signing yesterday.
On Twitter, go back to Davos with the other billionaire elite who think they know how to run the world. That's not what democracy means.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
that's mean.
They wouldn't stop.
Don't help elect Trump, you egotistical billionaire.
Did he say egotistical or evil testicle?
No, egotistical, evil, beep.
Yeah, I get it. I was just
so
curious.
He could barely, I mean, honestly, they kept interrupting him several times. Kind of like what I do to you.
Race together. So what about a race together conversation? Who wants a Frappuccino? Let's sit down and talk about it. Everybody get in a drum circle with your pajamas on, and let's talk through these things, because Howard Schultz is a reasonable man, or at least that's sort of how he portrays himself.
Have you gotten Hayek the Puppuccino, by the way?
Who what?
The Puppuccino.
I don't frequent Starbucks.
Well, they're free. So, of course, I go to Starbucks for the free Puppuccino.
Put that coffee down.
Coffee's for closers. Iowa Hawk tweeting in response to that suggestion that Starbucks be boycotted. He must be crushed before his frightening brand of anodyne milquetoast middle-of-the-roadism catches fire. Exactly. That's what it was at 60 Minutes the other night. I mean, it's kind of the pox on both your houses sort of thing.
I am seriously thinking of running for president. I will run as a centrist independent outside of the two-party system. We're living at a most fragile time. Not only the fact that this president is not qualified to be the president, but the fact that both parties are consistently not doing what's necessary on behalf of the American people and are engaged every single day in revenge politics.
And Michael Bloomberg says that, Schultz's contemplation is one billionaire too many thinking about running because he's stepping on Bloomberg's lane. Schultz also was asked the one question that was somewhat interesting from Scott Pelley, and that's about all you're going to get from Scott Pelley, about Race Together.
That when we all bonded, yes.
When the baristas at Starbucks were lecturing you about race relations.
Yeah, I actually partaked in that. I mean, when I went through the drive-thru, I said, "How's it going?" And he's like, "How's it going for you?" And I said, "Well, my kids are." They said, "Do you have any minorities in your house?" I'm like, "Actually, my kids are. I have 2 Puerto Ricans, and everything's fine. They're not being bullied or harassed. Everything's good. We're getting along great. Having a white mom, and it's all good."
It was a great
I was
talk.
mocking them. I mean, it was hysterical.
Yeah. And so you
engaged with a person with a nose ring.
Was that answer sufficient to allow you to obtain the cup of coffee you bought?
Yep, yeah.
All right.
And I told him, have a nice day.
Well, here's Howard Schultz on the topic. Sort of an implementation problem, and he owns it.
We had a moral obligation as a company to discuss this.
And then you were excoriated for having a coffee shop tell people what it thinks about humanity.
The execution was flawed.
Yeah.
And who owns that execution? I do. Because I was the one who was pushing us to not play it safe.
Reminds me of the great football coach, some tough years, John McKay, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh.
The year they went 0-14, he was asked about his team's execution, and he said, "I'm in favor of it." Tony, on the south side, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, my lammy lamb.
Hello.
Listen, we are living in good times, my brothers. When the left cannibalizes the left, I love this. Keep it up. This is great. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Tony.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
It looks like the feds may have been listening in at Madigan's law firm in addition to Burke's at 5:38.
And the acting AG says the Mueller probe is almost finished. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
While we have cold here, we will start in Houston this morning, where 2 police officers are in critical but stable condition. They were shot while serving a search warrant yesterday. 2 other officers were shot. They remain hospitalized. The head of the Texas Police Union is furious after those officers were shot.
And if you're the ones that are out there spreading the rhetoric that police officers are the enemy, well, just know we've all got your number now. We're going to be keeping track of all of y'all, and we're going to make sure that we hold you accountable every time you stir the pot on our police officers.
2 suspects who were killed at the scene. A 5th officer who was injured but was not shot was hospitalized and then released. The Department of Veterans Affairs says as many as 12 patients may have died as a result of errors and misdiagnoses at the Veterans Healthcare System of the Ozarks in Arkansas. In fact, 3,000 cases have been found to have errors, leading to at least 22 other serious injuries. The State of the Union address will go ahead February 5th, the president accepting House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's invite to give the speech. The utility company liable for damages in California's deadly Camp Fire declares bankruptcy overnight. PG&E filed for Chapter 11, citing the wildfires of 2017 and 2018. The company's liabilities from those disasters in excess of $51 billion. Preparations underway here as Chicago's bracing for what could be record-breaking cold weather tomorrow. The mayor says the city has an all-hands-on-deck approach.
City workers across agencies and departments have been working around the clock, and they will continue to do that throughout the week. This is a coordinated and comprehensive response to the weather.
Chicago Public and many other schools are closing or contemplating closing tomorrow as the frigid temps are set to slam the area. DePaul and Northwestern University set to close tonight and tomorrow. 311 is your best number in the city of Chicago to locate the closest warming center. And Metra and South Shore riders, due to the extreme cold, there will be fewer trains running. Chicago sports, Bulls in Brooklyn tonight to play the Nets. Blackhawks start the second half of the season on Friday night on the road against Buffalo. College hoops, Notre Dame spanked by number 2 Duke last night, 83-61. Tonight, the Wildcats at number 24 Maryland and our NIU Huskies take on Ohio. 5:34 is our time, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher says you have to pick your battles.
I'd like to believe the American people will see right through this and see that it's Pelosi who's canceling the State of the Union. Pick the hill you want to die on. You want to die on Trump besting Nancy Pelosi over the State of the Union? Or do you want to deal with border security that includes a wall? A State of the Union is one night, border security and a wall is forever.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas Coffee, a family tradition since 1897.
Dan Proft here.
And I'm Amy Jacobson, and we wanted to take a minute to say thanks. Thank you to each and every one of you who participated in our annual Food for the Poor campaign.
Because of you, we were able to raise more than $175,000 to provide food for a year and clean water for life for more than 2,200 children and their families in Haiti.
And we're especially grateful to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign. When you hear their ads on this station, we'd ask that you support their business as a way of thanking them for their generosity. And just because the Christmas season is over
and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need goes away. You can still make a $50 donation to Food for the Poor.
Just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
Or visit 560theanswer.com/food. That's 560theanswer.com/food. And thanks again for your generosity.
537. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 traffic center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
On the northwest side of Chicago, Peterson is now open between Kedzie and Central Park Avenue. There's a water main break. The roadway is reduced to one lane. Seeing delays on I-80 westbound past Harlem. There's a crash blocking the left lane north on Tri-State. Crash near the Thornton Quarry. 2 left lanes are blocked. Stop and go from the Lincoln Oasis to the quarry, northbound side of 294. The other tollways are okay now. The Ayden, Kennedy look good. On Eisenhower, a little tight around Des Plaines Avenue. Down Stevenson, get a 2-minute delay at Pulaski to Kedzie. Ryan, about a 3-minute delay coming into downtown. Bishoport, a 2-minute delay approaching the Verge. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1-hour heating and air conditioning weather center. Clouds and sun. Now, as the clouds begin to move out and the clear skies move in, the temps will drop dramatically. It will be windy and much colder. Extreme cold, of course, can be dangerous. A high of 3 above. Frigid overnight. Extreme dangerous cold with a low near 24 below. And a high only of 13 below tomorrow. It's 3 at O'Hare. It is 8 along Chicago's lakefront, 0 in Aurora where it's clearing out, and 4 below in Rockford this morning where it is clear. Your next news is at 6. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So this is getting interesting. The federal investigation into City Hall and the City Council. What's interesting is what they're filing in court. Listen to this. So we had the story last week about retiring 25th Ward Alderman Danny Solis.
Yeah.
He was wired up. and during his interactions with Burke. But he was the subject of an investigation that dates back as far as May of 2014. 120-page affidavit that federal investigators filed suggests they listened in on more than 18,000 conversations on one of Solis's cell phones over at least the course of a year, while also conducting surveillance of his private meetings and trips to massage parlors. Retiring Alderman Danny Solis received sex acts, Viagra, free weekend use of an Indiana farm once owned by Oprah Winfrey, and a steady stream of campaign contributions in exchange for shepherding official city council actions. Now you know why he had to go state's evidence and try and ensnare Burke.
Oh, of course. They're turning on each other. This is great.
Well, that's what rats do.
What does Mrs. Solis think about all this?
Yeah.
Is there a Miss Solis? I don't even know.
Mm-hmm. Solis...
I know that farm, though, that they were talking about. I went to that farm.
Uh-huh. He's publicly denied cooperating with the government, wearing a wire. Not present at the most recent city council meeting. His political operative ally, Roberto Caldero, is accused of assisting Solis in the pursuits, including soliciting campaign donations from the Cacciatore family.
The Cacciatore family? What is this, The Godfather?
Well,
hey, that gets okay.
The real estate,
right?
The big-time real estate owners,
yeah.
Elgin Sweeping Services, a major street sweeping company. I mean, this is.
They should all go away.
In 2014, Solis allegedly placed a series of calls and texts to Caldera asking if he had any of that blue medicine, meaning Viagra. I want to get a good massage with a nice ending. Do you know any places? Said Solis.
What? Oh, this is so embarrassing.
What does he mean by that? Caldero promised to arrange the nice massage with the wait, what did he say? He didn't say happy. With the nice ending.
Yeah, because
nice
you can't
ending.
say.
Nice ending.
Yeah, we all know what that means. Happy ending.
Okay. What kind of woman do they got there? Solis asked Caldero. Asian. Oh, good, good, good. I like Asian.
I knew he liked sushi. Okay.
If Danny...
Oh, what?
Whoa, wow.
What?
If Danny asked me for almost anything, I would do it. It's never been a quid pro quo, said Caldero, who's a longtime friend and associate and apparently henchman for both Solis and El Gallito.
What?
Solis, huh? You're dating Solis. God, I wonder why he decided to call it quits at the tender age of 70. That's sort of coming into focus. And then there's Speaker Madigan. The FBI secretly recorded Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan trying to get business for his private law firm from a developer brought to him by Danny Solis.
Oh, this is getting really good.
Who was weighing the developer's request to build a hotel in Chinatown, again, according to federal court affidavit obtained by the Sun-Times. The no criminal charge against Madigan at this time. Was recorded by an associate of the developer during a meeting at Madigan's law office that Solis arranged. The associate had been secretly working for the feds, made a video and audio recording of the meeting, which occurred in 2014. Man, these things take a long time. In a statement through his attorney, Madigan denied any wrongdoing. He hasn't been accused of any. It was just a guilty conscience, and said, quote, to our knowledge, neither the speaker nor the law firm is under investigation. Well, let me tell you something. If they're sending in an agent of the federal government to secretly video and audio record you, then you may not technically be under investigation, but you're sort of under investigation.
I'd be concerned. There's cause for concern, yeah.
According to the affidavit that was filed, Madigan said during the meeting to this hotel developer, we're not interested in a quick killing here. We're interested in a long-term relationship. Later, Solis told the developer he's going to benefit from being with the speaker, okay?
He will get anything he needs for that hotel.
Yeah. An FBI agent suggests in the 120-page affidavit, I understand Solis to mean that by hiring Madigan's private firm, the developer would ensure that Solis and Madigan would take official action benefiting the developer in their capacity as public officials. Well, that's exactly right. That's the only proper and reasonable way to interpret it. And you say to this, many people will, I'm sure, well, of course this is what they do. Of course they're leveraging their public office for private gain. Well, yes, of course they are. And of course that's illegal. And of course, just because you know it and just because it's obvious doesn't mean that you can prove it in a court of law, and thus you need investigations like this or people to come forward like those who effectively came forward against Ed Burke, that Burger King owner. This is really interesting. And Madigan's attorney said in a statement, quote, "The Speaker recalls attending several meetings with Alderman Solis over the past 5 years, including meetings with individuals in need of legal representation. If indeed some of his conversations were being recorded, the Speaker did not know that, but he has no concern if they were, just like Ed Burke has no concern. The Speaker has no recollection of ever suggesting that he would take official action for a private law firm client or potential client. To our knowledge, neither the Speaker nor his law firm is under investigation."
But
I got to just, the lawyerese here. The Speaker has no recollection of suggesting he would take official action for a private law firm or potential client. Oh, sure. I've forgotten all the times I did it.
But there's another conversation. I mean, when Solis talked about the hotel in Chinatown, and Madigan replied, good. He went on to say, well, our interest would be that we represent buildings like that on the real estate taxes. And we do quite a few hotels. And we have a little different approach to representation on hotels than other law firms that do the work. What does that sound like to you?
Well, it's exactly what it's been for 50 years under Madigan and Burke and the Dailies and all the other Chicago crime families that have been institutionalized through their dedicated public service, quote unquote. I mean, this is a great backdrop against a couple of things, including the race for mayor. The primary election is 30 days away, February 26th. And I would say right now, the front runner is Bill Daley.
Oh, please.
I think it's Daley and Preckwinkle right now. I mean, it's really close. It's bunched up, so there could be at least one surprise, perhaps two. But that's where it's at, based on the coverage. And the last 30 days, you're going to have money separate, and Preckwinkle and Daley have money. Mendoza really doesn't.
What about Chico's got some money?
Sort of does, and the rest somewhat do, but not to the same threshold. We'll see. Again, to get to 12-15%, you don't need $100 million, but the money can separate. Well, here's the thing. Cass writes about this over the weekend, the Tribune, Chicago corruption and the race for mayor, and he sort of calls on the residents of Chicago to wake up. Well, this is not a novel argument, but it's a reminder, because when we get into silly season, we focus on the politicians and we don't do much reflection. We don't. Well, what have we abided and supported even? And so what if it's the case that the real fiscal conservative reformer phonies are not just the politicians but the voters? What if it's the case that all of this is so much fun for an episode of Law and Order, but the majority of Chicago residents don't care? That's the way it works. It works for them, the closed network. And they're more interested in playing identity politics and, hating on Trump than they are in taking stock of their life under sort of this closed network, kleptocratic model of governance for the last 100 years. What if it's the case that the majority of voters are the frauds and the politicians are just an extension of that? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. I will say, though, it's nice to see that 219 South Dearborn exists. It's nice to see that we still have a U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District, because I was wondering for a while. And, oh, by the way, it's worth noting these investigations happened before the current U.S. Attorney, Lausch, who's a Trump appointee. But
they started before he.
Well, you're talking about investigations that started in 2014,
right?
Potentially, but it seems to be ratcheting up, and they seem very happy to provide all the gory details. Just ask Danny Solis in terms of how these lowlifes operate, and it's long overdue.
And I have a source who told me that that Burke is just the beginning.
I hope your source is right.
Yep.
Mike on the north side.
They're going to start turning on each
Good
other.
morning. Thanks for taking my call.
Hi, Mike.
This Solis is really a disgrace to Chicago aldermen. I mean, look how bad he makes him look. Taking bribes for such low amounts of money. His favorite place to go and meet guys, it was funny. He's 5'2". You'd see him in a golf shirt and jeans, and he would be with these tall guys in suits and gold chains. He'd go to a deli at 24th and Oakley. So, instead of taking him to a steakhouse, you'd spend $8 on a beef sandwich, fries, and a drink. And then a quick jaunt over to Chinatown for a massage. Less than $100 you bought this guy. There's another alderman that went to jail. His favorite place to go was the Red Lobster on Pulaski.
Yeah.
Used to be around the corner from Ed Burke's house. I mean, if you were to open up a Sizzler anywhere on the south side, you can get half the city council.
All right, thanks, Mike. Robert in Oak Brook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, you guys were talking about it. So Oprah and Daley own a house about a mile from me in Michigan.
Together?
Oprah has a drawbridge. You can't get into her home or the Daley's house without a drawbridge, electronic drawbridge.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay.
And marijuana is legal in Michigan now. Yeah. Does that give you a little hint of the money? Follow the money.
Well, okay. Thanks for the call, Robert.
Remember when Chicago police killed that cougar and a PETA person was so upset they lit Daley's house on fire, but it was the wrong house. It was Daley's next door neighbor's house. So I think now that they have a wall around their house to make sure that they're protected, but I don't know where he was getting at that.
Okay,
I told that story.
I got thrown from the car as soon as Robert came on. I don't know. I'm rolling around in a field. I have no idea what either Robert is talking about. Follow the money with Oprah? Yeah, I can follow it. She's on TV and stuff, and movies and whatnot. And I don't know
throwing a cougar, and now you've got.
Okay, I need a cleansing breath.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Oh, hello. Lincoln here. You know, these days, you just can't believe everything you read on the internet. Fact is, today we find ourselves fighting a cybersecurity war. So it's important you remember online safety measure tips available at ready.illinois.gov. With malware for none and cyber protection for all, this is your humble servant, Abraham Lincoln.
Sponsored by IEMA. Attention maintenance coordinators. Fans are a vital part of your business's building or factory. You've got to keep the air moving. But when they break down or need service, who can you call? Vans Industrial repair all types of fans, from small wall fans to large air movers.
Hi, I'm Dave Van Camp, president of Vans Industrial. Fan repair is one of many services that Vans offers. If you have a fan with a damaged shaft, bearing, impeller, or housing, we can help. And if you need a new fan, we handle all major brands and can provide engineering assistance to properly size your new fan. Our crews can respond to your emergencies or routine maintenance and will have your fan back up and running fast. And when we're done repairing your fan, we can also dynamically balance it so it runs smooth for years to come.
Vans uses only the best and safest union-trained mechanics, insured at the highest level, to perform the job right. Call 833-VANS-IND to get your fan repaired today. That's 833-VANS-IND. Or on the web at vansindustrial.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
And
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the LASIK Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the LASIK Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye with an absolutely free consultation. Text START to 350350. The LASIK Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use advanced FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The LASIK Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK for as low as $220 per eye. Text START to 350350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's START to 350350.
You probably don't realize this, but between you and your employer, you've contributed as much as 12.4% of your earnings to Social Security, and you've been doing this since your very first paycheck as a kid. Add it up over 40 or 50 years, and it could make your 401k contributions look like chump change. But there's one big problem. Claiming your Social Security benefits is complicated, confusing, and riddled with trapdoors. Hi, this is Tom Fortino. According to PBS and Boston University professor Lawrence Kotlikoff, the Social Security Handbook has 2,278 separate rules governing its benefits, and it has thousands upon thousands of explanations of those rules. Talk about a user's nightmare. Learn how you can help get what's yours. The answers are in our new reports on maximizing your Social Security benefit. It includes little-known strategies that could earn you tens of thousands of dollars more, even as much as $100,000 over your lifetime. This could be a game changer. Call right now to receive this information. 630-519-4742. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
You've invested a lot in your company's resources and reputation, so it's a logical next step to consider implementing or upgrading a commercial security system to protect your company and assets. Of course, you want to maximize ROI, so it's important to weigh the pros and cons of a business security system and determine how simple or complex of a system your business may need. Business security systems range in size and scale from simple individual alarm and camera systems to fully integrated complex designs that incorporate access control, CCTV, and management from a single platform across multiple sites. 2 Secure Inc., Chicagoland's business security experts, use the newest technology and can reduce costs by reusing your existing hardware and cable infrastructure. 2 Secure is offering a free, no-obligation, live, on-site CCTV demo. See for yourself how a new or upgraded security system can work for your business. Call 708-990-4408 or visit 2secure.com, 708-990-4408, or online at the number 2secureinc.com.
We've all been there, looking for a parking spot when it's freezing and icy outside. The icy pavement of this pothole-filled parking lot is a nightmare. Oh, there's a spot. Wait, oh no, you're sliding. Watch out for that pothole. Your tire just blew out. The kids are crying and you're never coming back here again. Business owners and property managers, avoid frustrating your customers with a less than perfect parking lot. Pavement Solutions can offer you a safer and longer lasting pothole repair with permanent cold mix asphalt. It's an immediate solution and 90% of potholes patched will never need to be repaired again. Call Pavement Solutions today and learn how they can fix your lot in a day without closing it. In fact, as customers drive over the patch, it gets stronger. Don't put your customers or your business at risk with annoying potholes. Give your customers the experience they deserve. Call Pavement Solutions for a free quote. 815-675-0696. 815-675-0696.
AM 560, The
Answer. All right. Record-breaking cold possibly tomorrow. What, minus 24 degrees with the wind chill? Minus 60. It's a great time to book your trip and get out of town with us as we travel to Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. That's where we're heading with Apple Vacations, and you are invited to come along with us April 6th through April 13th. Thank you. Yarra! We'll be staying at the Miraval Residences Luxury Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. It's an all-inclusive resort just 10 minutes from the airport in beautiful Puerto Vallarta. Dan, have you ever been to Puerto Vallarta?
I have not.
Oh, you'll love it. And this place is gorgeous. The homes, I mean, it is like a home. Every hotel room has a front room, a living room, a kitchen. It's just a gorgeous property. 6 gourmet restaurants, 2 bars, 24-hour room service, all the bells and whistles. To get more information and book your trip, Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. Every year this trip gets better and better, and people are signing up that were on the trip last year, years before. Come join us. Let's get out of this miserable weather. 560theanswer.com/passport. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
The State of the Union address is set. What should Trump say at 6:06?
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is the one and only Mike Scott.
Preparations underway as Chicago braces for the frigid temps arriving shortly. Flights canceled, fewer Metra and South Shore trains as well, and schools closing ahead of the bitter cold. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
It hasn't been this cold for decades. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. In some parts of the northern U.S.,
wind chills as low as 60 below into tomorrow. From Minneapolis to Des Moines to Chicago.
Limit your time outdoors and work remotely from home if possible. Please allow extra time for travel. Keep your vehicle in working order and be patient.
Chicago Emergency Management's Rich Gaitis. The cold expected to shutter schools and businesses across the region.
That's Fox's Jeff Manasso from Wisconsin, where it feels like 20 below now.
This Arctic cold front has reached as far south as the Deep South and the Gulf Coast. We have winter weather advisories for places that don't know how to deal with the snow and the ice on the roadways.
Fox meteorologist Janice Dean, they could get several inches of snow from Mississippi to Alabama to Georgia. Several hundred flights to and from Atlanta are grounded. Nearly 1,000 cancellations in all, many in Chicago. The State of the Union's back on. Instead of tonight, President Trump will address the nation next week. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president accepted the House Speaker's invitation to address a joint session of Congress on February 5th. The speech should come 10 days before another deadline to reach a deal on border funding. Republican Senator John Kennedy.
I don't think the president will shut government down again. I think what he'll do is declare a national emergency.
Democratic Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver.
I'm hoping that someone will tell the president, don't use this to launch attacks.
The House and Senate Conference Committee will meet tomorrow as they try to come up with a compromise to keep the government open beyond February 15th. Dave.
Rachel, 2 Houston police officers are in critical but stable condition the morning after they and 3 other cops were injured searching for drugs at a home.
Immediately upon breaching the door, the officers came under fire from 1 or 2 suspects inside the house.
Houston Police Chief Art Acevedo, the suspects were both killed. In California, PG&E filed for bankruptcy this morning after hundreds of lawsuits blaming the utility for deadly wildfires. This is Fox News.
Skies are clearing, and we have 3 degrees above at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott, but just to our west, temperatures are already plunging into the single negative digits as skies begin to clear out. Preparations are underway as Chicago braces for what could be record cold weather tomorrow. The brutal cold impacting millions across the Midwest and Great Lakes, canceling hundreds of flights, especially for Pat Conant and her husband trying to fly from O'Hare to Denver.
We went online to find out that it was canceled, and we've been scrambling to try to get home today because he has a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
Forecasters say temps will drop below zero and wind chills as low as minus 55. That's for tomorrow. Chicago Public Schools will close tomorrow as frigid cold is set to hit the area. DePaul and Northwestern University among the many colleges that are closing either tonight or through noon on Thursday. Chicagoans can call 311 to locate the closest warming center near them. Cook County has similar operations in effect. Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker mobilizing the entire state's emergency response. The governor says the state will work with many local communities to make sure everyone has what they need. Metra operating on a modified schedule tomorrow. South Shore officials announcing the line will run fewer trains and, in fact, provide bus service between Michigan City and South Bend. In other news, we're following a Kenosha, Wisconsin man will face a reckless homicide charge in the death of an Illinois state trooper earlier this month. Scott Larson hit and killed, according to prosecutors, trooper Chris Lambert while he was investigating a crash on the tri-state in Glenview. Children as young as 12 could soon be charged as adults with attempted murder in Indiana. State Senate yesterday overwhelmingly approved a new plan that lowers the age for attempted murder charges in light of prosecutors seeking more jail time for a 13-year-old who shot a classmate and a teacher at Noblesville West Middle School in Indiana last May. The Bears say they've signed kicker Redford Jones. Bears GM Ryan Pace is vowing to upgrade that kicker position after the failures of Cody Parkey. By the way, Chicago does face a $5.2 million salary cap hit if they release Parkey without a June 1 designation. Bulls in Brooklyn tonight to play the Nets. The news a service of Peloton. Peloton is a game-changing indoor cycling bike that brings the energy of live studio classes right to your home anytime you want. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity explains why Pelosi won't sit down with the president.
The transformation of the Democratic Party into the radical socialist Democratic Party. It is the base. You want to know why Nancy Pelosi cannot sit down with Donald Trump? Because her base is going to take her speakership away.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
I started my business in 1986 and began paying employees. I would handwrite checks and say, "Here you go. Don't cash it until Tuesday." That came to a screeching halt when a teenage employee said his dad wanted to see his pay stub. Pay stub? We don't have pay stubs. Get back to work. He said, "Dad works for the government and state law requires I receive a pay stub." Uh-oh. Hi, I'm Mike Capel, CEO of Patriot Software. After many emergency calls, I learned how to correctly withhold payroll taxes and create pay stubs. I avoided handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit that day, barely. That's why I created Patriot Software, to help small business owners do their payroll taxes correctly with pay stubs. And if you need help, we'll help you for free. Go to patriotsoftware.com and enter promo code RADIO, and I'll give you 2 months of payroll processing free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
The most popular days to get engaged are Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. And guys, finding the perfect wedding venue can be harder to figure out than the color and quality of the perfect diamond. With love in the air, Avante Banquets is here to help you plan the wedding of your dreams for the party of a lifetime at a price right for you. Avante Banquets is part of the family-owned Chicago Prime Restaurants, with a picturesque location opened just last year near Barrington, providing fine American dining and a timeless experience. Avante is an exceptional space for your wedding or corporate events and fundraisers, for an intimate gathering, or parties of 500 or more. The calendar is filling up, so secure your date today at AvanteBanquets.com. That's AVANTE Banquets.com. With wedding packages starting at just $39 a person. Experience exceptional hospitality with the Calcunos family at Avante Banquets, because classic never goes out of style. AvanteBanquets.com. AvanteBanquets.com.
Get your free credit scorecard today, even if you're not a Discover customer. It includes your FICO credit score, and checking your scorecard won't hurt your credit. Learn more at discover.com/credit scorecard. Limitations apply.
6:07 and a check on the roads in the AM 560 traffic center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
I-80 westbound past Harlem. There's a crash in the left lane. Traffic's heavy on that area. Northbound Tri-State at stop and go from 394 the Bishop Ford Freeway to Thornton Quarry, where crash blocks the left lane. The other tollways look fine. Kennedy inbound. See delays Harlem to Central and Addison to Belmont. 23 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 22. Inbound Eisenhower. Scattered delays start around Manheim. 36 minutes, 390 to downtown, outbound 30. Inbound Stevenson, heavy starting around 83. 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound Ryan, 21 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 20 minutes, 80 to the merge, Bishop 423. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A wind chill advisory in effect today. Windy and much colder. Times of sun and clouds. The high today only 3. Clear, breezy, and quite cold tonight. The low at minus 24. Sunny, brisk, a bitter cold day tomorrow with a high at minus 13. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently snow and 1 above officially at O'Hare. 4 above along the lakefront, and right now it is -3 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Some perspective on the cold weather. Hillsdale student Kaylee McGee tweeting.
Yeah.
Dr. Arnn, Larry Arnn, the president of Hillsdale College in Michigan. Dr. Arnn on whether Hillsdale will cancel classes on Wednesday due to frostbite-inducing temperatures. Quote, wear clothes, unquote.
Well, our general manager sent out an email due to the prediction of sub-zero weather for this Wednesday. We ask that you prepare accordingly outside of necessary programming staff, the morning show. Those that are able to do so may work from home on Wednesday. Safety first, Jeff.
Yeah.
So I think we should do phoners tomorrow. Yeah? You want to come in?
No.
You want to risk your life?
So
into work?
Hillsdale College
Wear
is
clothes?
for grown-ups
Yes.
and those who desire to be grown-ups.
Okay.
And so is talk radio.
All right.
So we're going to be grown-ups and we're going to come and do
Okay.
the show.
When it's -60 wind chill. It's all right.
Yeah.
Put blankets in your car. Yeah.
Packers have played football in that kind of weather.
Oh,
We're not
good
outside.
point. No, we're not.
Yeah.
But you have to walk from your apartment to the elevator down to your heated garage. Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, what you sacrifice for this show, it's unbelievable. I mean, really.
I'm a grown-up. I have grown-up things.
I had to warm up the beast this morning for 10 minutes. But it's all right. That's all right. We'll see who gets to work tomorrow.
A State of the Union address is set for February 5th. That's coming up right around the corner next week. It's going to be a busy week. Everything that needed to be rescheduled has been now. February 5th for the State of the Union address. February 8th for Michael Cohen's closed-door testimony before congressional committees.
I'm so bummed. I wanted to be public, but it's all right.
It seems unlikely to me that you'll have a deal on
17
border
days.
security funding by February 5th. So it's interesting, and we sort of touched on this yesterday, but it's interesting that State of the Union speech is going to go forward with the possibility of another shutdown looming. So what do you want to hear from President Trump? We're going to talk to Freddie Gray from The Spectator at the top of the 7 o'clock hour. He argues that Trump has not caved on the matter whatsoever. I disagree with him, so it should be an interesting conversation. But the point is, regardless of what your perspective is on the decisions he made last week to punt both on the State of the Union as well as on the partial shutdown, while even he, in the Wall Street Journal the weekend yesterday, or on Sunday, said, I give it less than 50-50 that this bipartisan group of lawmakers comes up with a deal I can sign. Not terribly optimistic. So what should he say? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. What is the case the president should make to the American people with this primetime opportunity called the State of the Union address?
Well, he should have the police officer who was gunned down by somebody here illegally. He should have his family members present.
Yeah.
He should have Kate Steinle's father there. He should have anyone, really, who he can get a hold of to come to show, like, this is what happens if we don't have a strong border. People come back again and again and again. And then they're violent. Yeah, he's done it before.
He's had the angel parents there before. It doesn't mean he can't do it again.
Yeah,
and
he should do
particularly,
it.
as you mentioned, in the wake of the murder of that police officer from Newman,
Because
California.
Pelosi will be sitting right there. Chuck Schumer will be sitting right there. We don't know if they've seen the footage or heard the stories. It could just be like, ignore it. But they're going to see them face to face, make eye contact with surviving, family members. So I think that would be great. What do you think he should say?
Bipartisan tone, conciliatory, or combative? Conventional, work together, brighter future, city upon a hill, or unconventional, antagonistic, taking on both parties? A problem I'm trying to address that has gone unaddressed by both parties for generations. And I don't mean just limiting it to immigration and border security, but obviously that will be central against the backdrop of a possible additional partial shutdown just 10 days later, or wherever the conversations have brought us to by the time the president takes the dais to address the nation.
312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer line. 64636, type in DA, then a quick comment.
I mean, what's it going to be? You've got accusations being bandied about. Remember the other piece of this with Cohen's testimony just 3 days later and Stone's indictment, and then acting Attorney General Matt Whitaker saying the Mueller report is soon to be finished or soon to be delivered, the investigation soon to end. That's what he suggested yesterday. How should he address that piece of it? Should he ignore it? Should he be combative? Should he be somewhat conciliatory, because what has Mueller really produced? It was interesting just on the Mueller piece, and then we'll get to some calls. But on the Mueller piece, over the weekend on Meet the Press, Saul Weisenberg, who's former prosecutor, on the primary D.C. press corps narrative on the Stone indictment. Listen to what he had to say.
I don't think they have it. I don't think it's there. And all this stuff I see where people are oohing and aahing over this indictment in terms of getting us closer to a conspiracy allegation, I think are quite incorrect. In fact, if anything, the indictment tends to show that the Trump campaign was not involved in a conspiracy, because they had to ask Roger Stone, hey, go ask WikiLeaks what kind of damaging stuff they have on Hillary and when they're going to release it next. That doesn't sound like somebody, leading a conspiracy or in on what's going to happen. They're having to ask Roger Stone. So I reject the primary narrative that I am seeing a lot on your network and on CNN. It's just another case of lying.
And speaking of Roger Stone, he's going to be arraigned today in a D.C. courtroom, and they might implement a gag order on him. So he's speaking.
To storm my house with a greater force than was used to take down bin Laden or El Chapo or Pablo Escobar, to terrorize my wife and my dogs, it's unconscionable.
The raid on Stone was over the top.
It's ridiculous. Again, it's to taint the jury pool, I think, because people are going to see that, and if they're picked for a jury, that he's sinister, he's a bad guy. They had a helicopter overhead.
The Stone thing and getting into the business of defending Stone and Manafort and Cohen, or trying to recast the relationships between them and Trump, I don't really care. Trump surrounded himself with unsavory characters, and he's paying a price for it. However, that does not mean that he is guilty of some sort of conspiracy to enlist foreign agents to alter the election. It doesn't mean, that you even have to say this. It doesn't mean that he is Vlad Putin's man in D.C., which is literally explicitly being alleged by the unhinged left, including many of their unhinged presidential candidates like Eric Swalwell, a congressman from California, who was a prosecutor himself. And that should tell you something. Prosecutors, oh, by the way, just a reminder, are not above reproach. They are subject to political pressure. They make decisions that are influenced by politics. No one is above reproach. This binary white hats and black hats business that we're supposed to buy, including, frankly, from some on the center right that continue to sing the praises of Bob Mueller's impeccable credentials. Well, his actual record suggests otherwise. And his investigation, to me, suggests otherwise to this point as well. I don't know what we don't know. And I've said from the outset, I'm willing to go wherever the facts lead. Fine. If Trump committed crimes, he should be held to account for crimes. And anybody around him. No one is above the law, including the President of the United States. But what have you produced? Conspiracy theories. mainly conspiracy theories.
Well,
and
6 indictments of his
and
inner circle.
And crimes, indictments that have nothing to do with activities during the 2016 election. It is lying after the fact.
Yep.
It is, in the case of Manafort, business activities that are unrelated to his relationship with Trump. Again, importantly, in the Stone indictment, what was missing was anything related to any sort of criminal conspiracy involving Russia or, frankly, anything else related to the 2016 campaign.
Mostly charges on lying to Congress and with, Mike Flynn lying to the FBI.
So,
or allegedly lying. But the acting AG says the end is almost near, Dan.
Right now, the investigation is, I think, close to being completed, and I hope that we can get the report from Director Mueller as soon as possible.
And
prosecutors are on the case are already being taken off and switched to other judges.
And so, what are you going to have? You're going to have Trump. You're going to have Trump's or some parts of what they're going to term ostensibly Trump's inner circle, engaged in political skullduggery and lying about it. So there's the criminality. And with Trump doing potentially damage control for Junior after the Trump Tower meeting with the Russian attorney, right? But it doesn't matter what you have for the left because they've been calling for impeachment from virtually day one. They're not interested in any of the evidence presented or any of the evidence that is lacking to substantiate their claims. So you'll move now into that phase of whether or not the Democrats can, whether or not actually, frankly, Pelosi can wrangle the base Democrats to stop a move towards impeachment in the House. That's really what's going to be interesting, because are you going to have anything that on its merits and in the public's mind rises to high crimes and misdemeanors such that the president should be removed? Unless you have sort of smoking gun evidence that he committed felonies, I don't see it, and I don't see anything of the sort forthcoming. And former prosecutors like Saul Weisenberg are saying the same thing. Dan in Libertyville, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call. My initial comment was in regards to what should Trump say at the State of the Union, and that is that he is going to enforce E-Verify to a whole new level, hire 100,000 more ICE officers and deport every illegal alien working illegally and arrest every employer allowing them to work illegally. But my bigger comment is the real issue that nobody's really pointing a finger at that much is that the FBI has become the fake Bureau of Investigation. They're under the control of the Clintons. And I can say this because who else but Bill Clinton could get on a plane with the Attorney General and the FBI is stopping anybody from taking a photograph? Don't talk about it. You didn't see this. Who else but the FBI could open investigations without there being any evidence to start an investigation and lie to judges to get special FISA warrants? These people should be put in jail.
Well,
we're
talking past tense with the FBI because we're talking about the senior leadership under Comey, and everything that you're saying is precisely correct about the senior leadership, which is why in part they're gone. Some at the hands of Trump, some at the hands of their own internal mechanisms, and we are waiting for individuals to be brought to justice who were senior level people at FBI. Law enforcement not above reproach either. Thanks for the call, Dan. Appreciate it. I don't know if it's under the control of Clinton or not, but it doesn't matter. What matters is what they did, what Comey did, what McCabe did, what Strzok and Page did, and what folks at Justice were doing. Bruce Orr and his wife, the communications across agency from DOJ to FBI about both investigations, the Hillary email investigation, the Trump collusion, Russian collusion investigation. Yeah, that stuff matters. And you want half the nation to not have faith in the FBI because of Jim Comey's bull jive Mr. Smith Goes to Washington routine to obfuscate his political skullduggery at best, criminal activity at worst? Somebody was lying there. Somebody lied before Congress. It's either Comey or McCabe, or both.
Yeah.
And so what about equal application of the law? Roger Stone's an easy target. He runs his mouth all the time. He's, conspiracy theorist and a ringmaster. Okay, fine. If he lied to Congress, he lied to Congress. If he tampered with a witness, he tampered with a witness. I don't have any stake in Roger Stone or any of these guys. Don't care. Wherever the facts lead. But what about wherever the facts lead for those on the law enforcement side? Tom in Deer Park.
Oh, hi. Good morning. Yes, my call was also in regard to what the president might want to say at the State of the Union. And it seems like what is not being focused on was what was not being focused on during the campaign. And that would be the deficit and the huge debt that we have. And then the massive problem in the room is entitlement reform, the Medicare, Social Security. Those are the items that are going to take this country apart. There are a couple of time bombs. And instead, what the conservative movement seems to be focused on now, which is what they were focused on during the campaign, was the notion of a wall and not a handful. There's an immigration problem.
Tom.
Oh, we lost
guess
Tom.
his phone froze.
All right, thanks, Tom.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. People walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
This story is called The Ugly Truth About Timeshare. If you think you've done your family a favor by buying a timeshare, you need my help. Hello, I'm Chuck McDowell, CEO and founder of Wesley Financial Group. 10 years ago, I started helping folks cancel their timeshare contracts, and in the process started what's now called the timeshare cancellation industry. Timeshare is the only thing that you can buy that you can't tell me how much it's going to cost or when it's going to end. When you buy a timeshare, you give them a blank check to fill out any amount they want for annual maintenance and assessment fees. Sound crazy? The crazy thing is, this never ends. Even when you die, your family's now going to be stuck with this burden. Stop the insanity today. Call my office now. I guarantee if we can't cancel your timeshare contract, you'll pay nothing.
Call for your free information kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100. 800-290-7100.
Dan Proft here.
And I'm Amy Jacobson, and we wanted to take a minute to say thanks. Thank you to each and every one of you who participated in our annual Food for the Poor campaign.
Because of you, we were able to raise more than $175,000 to provide food for a year and clean water for life for more than 2,200 children and their families in Haiti.
And we're especially grateful to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign. When you hear their ads on this station, we'd ask that you support their business as a way of thanking them for their generosity. And just because the Christmas season is over
and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need goes away. You can still make a $50 donation to Food for the Poor.
Just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
Or visit 560theanswer.com/food. That's 560theanswer.com/food. And thanks again for your generosity. It's a fact. Workmen's compensation makes companies less productive and less profitable. It becomes more complicated with every amendment by the legislature. It's an increasing burden on employers. It's important that your company identify the risks and do everything possible to minimize your exposure. For more than 3 decades, the firm of Spiegel and Cahill, a Food for the Poor business benefactor of AM 560, has effectively represented businesses and insurance companies in Illinois and Indiana with workmen's compensation defense. The attorneys understand and are sympathetic to the real burden your company faces. They excel at helping you minimize the payouts and pursue alternatives to litigation. You'll work with one attorney, and the Spiegel and Cahill team is committed to being responsive and managing costs. To learn more or request a no-obligation workman's comp consultation, call Spiegel and Cahill, the workman's comp defense professionals in Hinsdale at 630-455-4070, or visit defendingbusinesses.com. That number again, 630-455-4070, or online at defendingbusinesses.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
We'll touch base with Sheila Weinberg, the founder of Truth in Accounting. They've got a new report on city finances, including Chicago's. Boy, this should inform the next 30 days in the run-up to the February 26th primary election. Will it? That's at 6:36.
And people relax. Wait till you hear what happens when someone wrote "build that wall" on a cookie. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Light snow showers 2 degrees above, and extreme cold set to blanket the area. We'll get to that story in just a moment. But first, a new poll this morning finds 1/3 of Republicans and GOP-leaning independents are opposing President Trump's nomination for a second term. It's an ABC News Washington Post poll out this morning showing about 56% of those surveyed say they will not consider voting for President Trump if he runs for re-election. 4 Houston police officers are hospitalized. They were shot trying simply to serve a search warrant yesterday. 2 are in critical condition. Houston Police Officers Union President Joel Gamaldi says enough is enough. People need to stop targeting police officers.
We are sick and tired of having targets on our back. We are sick and tired of having dirtbags trying to take our lives when all we're trying to do is protect this community and protect our families.
A 5th officer who was injured but not shot is also hospitalized. The utility company liable for damages in Northern California's deadly Camp Fire declaring bankruptcy. Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection this morning, citing wildfires in 2017 and 2018. Their liability is in excess, according to experts, of $51 billion. Preparations underway. Chicago is bracing for that record-breaking cold. The mayor says the city has all hands on deck.
City workers across agencies and departments have been working around the clock, and they will continue to do that throughout the week. This is a coordinated and comprehensive response to the weather.
Chicago Public Schools are closed tomorrow. DePaul University, Northwestern University, many other colleges and schools following suit, closing tonight through noon on Thursday. Metra operating a modified schedule tomorrow as a result of that extreme cold. Same story on the South Shore, and in fact, the railroad is providing bus service between Michigan City and South Bend. Even President Trump is getting in on the polar vortex talk. He says he wants global warming back as temperatures reach historic lows here in the Midwest. Bears have signed kicker Redford Jones. Bears GM Ryan Pace is vowing to upgrade the kicker position. Bulls are in Brooklyn tonight to take on the Nets. College hoops last night. Notre Dame lost to number 2 Duke. The news, a service of Peloton. Live studio classes in the comfort of your own home. Winter or summer, rain or shine, with the Peloton bike, it's always the perfect weather to sweat. And with up to 14 live rides a day and over 10,000 more on demand, nothing will get between you and your workout. Learn more about the Peloton bike at onepeloton.com or visit your local showroom. 6:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Marvel Residences Luxury Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. It's a beautiful, all-inclusive resort located between Rainforest Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Jim Durkin, founding partner of the Martech Group, a global market research firm based in Chicago since 1985 and a longtime customer of Signature Bank. When our business moved to our current Loop location, I recall seeing Mick O'Rourke and his two business partners, Brian Duncan and Kevin Bastuga, laying the foundation for Signature Bank. When Signature opened its doors in 2006, I was proud to move our accounts there and become a shareholder. Being in the consulting business, the Martech Group has a keen understanding of the value of relationships, trust, and attentiveness. Whether dealing with our U.S. practice or our international operations, Signature Bank is always there when we need them. That's why the Martech Group is proud to have Signature Bank as a valued business partner.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Sometimes when it rains, it pours right into your basement. This is Gus from Chicagoland Waterproofing. My mission is to identify why your home is taking on water and fix it. I want you to sleep at night during a rainstorm and not worry about your basement filling up with water. Like our client Kim from Mount Prospect.
We had chronic basement flooding and no one could figure out why. During a huge storm, water was pouring in through the window wells of our finished basement and we had to bail out 6 inches of water. We got a bunch of estimates, but Gus's was the most reasonable, plus he knew exactly what the problem was. He put in a full basement drain tile system and an additional sub pump with a backup battery. Chicagoland Waterproofing gave us peace of mind. I like to say, in Gus we trust.
From simple sump pumps to complex storm drainage and crack foundation solutions, Chicagoland Waterproofing's work comes with a lifetime warranty. Plus, a fully licensed plumber is always on staff. Request your estimate today at ChicagolandWaterproofingPros.com or call 847-296-3500. Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
6:36. Let's get an update on the morning roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. The latest with Jim Talamonte.
In Hanover Park, there's a crash on 390 right at Lake Street. South side of Chicago, Racine is closed, 74th to 75th due to a major wreck. Inbound Eden's tight Cicero to the junction. 22 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, up on 21. Inbound Kennedy, delays start at Canfield. 33 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 15 from Montrose, 14 on the Express. Up on 25 minutes downtown to O'Hare. Inbound Eisenhower, 41 minutes, 390 to downtown. Up on 32. Inbound Stevenson, 45 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Up on 36. Ryan runs 23 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 21 minutes, I-80 to the merge. There's a crash before Cicero. Bishop Ford, 24 minutes, 80-94 to the Ryan. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Clouds and sun to start the day, and then we have clearing for much of the day. Windy and much colder. That extreme cold will definitely be dangerous. A high of 3 above, but that will occur early this morning, and we will get colder throughout the day. Currently snow and 1 above officially at O'Hare. It's 4 above along the lakefront and -4 with a wind chill of -25 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 7. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
Oh, Sheila, let me love you till the morning comes.
You know who sings it?
Oh, Sheila.
That's your 80s music.
Prince.
Are you kidding? Not even close. One hit wonder. You have no idea. Do
I
not
know
help
the
her.
words. No, I need a lifeline. Justin, talk to me.
Ready for the world.
He doesn't even know the answer either.
I just gave you the answer.
What's it called? One World? I can hear you.
I mean,
Justin was talking to me.
Are you in studio with me, or Ready for the World is the band?
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Ready for the World.
Doing my American Bandstand impersonation. And now ready for us is Sheila Weinberg. She is the founder of Truth in Accounting, housed here in Chicago. Tries to get government to do the impossible, which is follow legitimate accounting standards. So we have a real understanding of city, state finances. They've issued a new report. By the way, this example of what I'm talking about, we had earlier in the week, or no, last week. Bill Bergman, who's at Truth in Accounting. Remember, we talked about the Sun-Times is erroneous reporting on CPS's finances.
Oh, right.
Last year, CPS, because they put out in a press release, had a $324 million surplus. Wrong. If you actually do what Bergman did and look at their statement of net position, it was minus $800 million. So the Sun-Times reporting was off by just $1 billion because they don't have a reporter who can read a balance sheet and or has enough intellectual curiosity to ask an actual accounting professional if what CPS is putting out in their propaganda is backed up by the numbers. So this is the importance of an organization like Truth in Accounting. They've issued a new report today, on the cities. They looked at 75 of the largest cities in America. That would include Chicago still, maybe not for much longer, and looked at whether or not they have the available resources to keep all of their financial promises. I think you know where this goes as it pertains to Chicago, but for more on this, Sheila Weinberg joins us now. Sheila, thanks for being with us. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Dan. I didn't know the song either, Amy.
Okay.
Well,
thank you. You're in good company.
When it comes to 80s music, I have no peer. So, I mean, don't feel bad, ladies. All right, so here's the thing, Sheila. 75 of the cities, the largest cities in the country. Where does Chicago stand? How do Chicago taxpayers sit?
Well, the good news is Chicago is second from the last, with New York City being the first, but keep in mind, there's always a but, Chicago's numbers do not include the school district and the park district, where New York, their schools are included in theirs. So probably once you add all those up, Chicago would be worse again. But in this study where we're just looking at the government entity by itself, Chicago comes out last, receiving an F grade, and each taxpayer just has to send $36,000 down to City Hall, and we would be back even.
Well, how did we get to this point?
It is things like we were talking about with CPS, where the government's claimed surpluses. Chicago has balanced its budgets for years. They have to by state law, but they do, phony in-run type accounting where they just do not include all of their cost. They can balance their checkbook but they put money onto their pension and retiree health care credit card debt.
And we talked to Ed Bachrach, who's co-authored a new book called The New Chicago Way. Talked to him last week. He's got an event tomorrow at Union League Club. I think Truth in Accounting is sponsoring.
Yeah, I think the people at City Hall were able to get weather so bad that people aren't going to arrive.
Yeah, right. Right. Pick the wrong day. Well, but one of the things Ed says, and I like the way he says this because it's different than sometimes the way we want to talk about this, about cutting this and cutting that. His point is, hey, look, you want this level and expensive government? Fine. But just understand you've been paying, 60 cents on the dollar for the government that you've been getting, the government you say you want, all of the benefits, the salary levels, the pension levels, the services. So if you want this much government, fine. Yeah. But you got to, double your property taxes in order to pay down the unfunded pension liabilities, for example.
That would not get me reelected if I proposed to actually pay for the size of government that I'm giving to the people.
But I mean, isn't that a good way to put it? This isn't about if you want government this big and you want all these goodies and these salary levels, hey, that's fine. Just understand here's the actual cost of it.
Right, it's a perfect way to put it, and that is why, again, you have a balanced budget requirement, so you have to pay for the level of government that you're getting, and also that would mean that you could hold the elected officials accountable, because I could go ahead and go hold it. I might not want to. Why am I paying so much in taxes? And then people might go, oh, well, that's because government costs so much. But, they've been in this false sense of la-la land that, oh, well, the budget's balanced. I really don't have to pay that much in taxes. Everything is good. I'll go ahead and reelect these people. So, beyond the numbers, it's not just a numbers game. we're hurting our representative form of government because the citizens have not been able to be knowledgeable participants in their government. When they went to the voting booth, they voted for people assuming that the budget was balanced and everything was fine, and they paid a level of taxes that might have gotten these people reelected. So, forget the numbers. We've been locked out of the financial decision-making process.
So then what happened when what happens when the bills come due? I mean, we don't have a money fairy to just drop us billions of dollars.
The bills are already coming due, the mayor, he did make the people start to pay for it. He raised property taxes, and those still aren't going to be enough. So they're already coming due. The employees are, getting lifeboats. They're securing their seat on the lifeboat. They got a law passed that that they can go to the state comptroller and say, hey, my pensions aren't getting funded properly. Withhold some of those state grants. We're already where bad things are happening.
Well, and just by way of comparison, too, to give sort of order of magnitude. So Chicago, as Sheila said, $36,000 per taxpayer, right, to bring us into even. Houston, which is a city as big as Chicago, with as much diversity as Chicago, 11.3. So Chicago more than 3x Houston's essentially debt per capita. So so big cities in some respects are not performing as well and have more complicated budgets and demands than do smaller cities. But there's a big city like Houston that has a very different net position than Chicago.
Yeah, and some people are like, well, Chicago's an older city, so maybe that's it. But, but they should have been funding these, and the mayor and the council should have been, making people pay for the size of government they got, from the beginning of time. But they've been doing, fictitious accounting. That's why we're proposing fact-based accounting, which you can go onto our website under resources and try to get some of the rules changed on how this accounting and budgeting is done.
I wanted to play a clip from Bill Daley over the weekend on with Mike Flannery on Fox Chicago. This is Bill Daley's A Big Idea on Pensions. It's not new, but it's worth noting that I would say he's the front runner right now. So what's the front runner saying on pensions?
Look, I don't think any of us think about a legacy. We think of the job we try to do, the life we... I'm not in favor of solving this problem on the backs of the retirees, nor on the backs of the taxpayers. It has to be together. But as long as the Constitution is what it is, we cannot have an honest negotiation to change that.
So, Sheila, he's saying, change the provision of the Constitution. He doesn't want to put it on the backs of retirees or the backs of taxpayers. I think he's running out of backs.
Yeah, we've completely run out of backs. Well, he did mention, to put it on both of them, and change. The way the Constitution is written, that once you're hired, then you get the pension that is in place from that day forward, no matter whether the government can afford it, whether if they do benefits enhancements, you get those. And the government can't go, oh, well, we don't have enough money that the taxpayers don't want to pay, more and more taxes to cover these. The way the state constitution is written, you can't go back and change it. Arizona had a constitutional clause just as hard as ours is. And what happened was what is happening in other local governments. It happened in Evanston the last time they did their budget. Was they said, well, we're going to have to lay off firefighters. We're going to have to lay off police officers because we can't afford the pensions. And finally, that brought the unions to the table to, get a constitutional amendment. But what's going on in Chicago is they're coming up with, different schemes to push the can down the road. Let's re-amortize the debt. Let's do a pension bond, instead of addressing the problem now.
So Chicago police, fire, teachers, basically all in the same boat. They put about, actually teachers are a little bit better because they've got CPS, the taxpayers that pick up 2/3 of their contribution. But essentially, here's the deal. 30 years of service, they put about $140 grand in, and they get $2.1 million back, guaranteed. So forget the private sector for a second, because obviously that's just a fairy tale in the private sector. These other cities, 75 cities you looked at, does anybody else do that where they've got that kind of contribution in for that kind of guarantee out?
I don't know that specifically, Dan, but it's just a part of this accounting scheme where it's like, well, instead of paying the employees more, where we would have had to maybe raise taxes or cut services in order to do that, they just, did this accounting scheme that allowed them to push it on to future taxpayers. And so that's why we believe fact-based accounting and budgeting is so important. Let's get the general fund accounted for properly so the citizens really know how much government costs. Instead they've done all these accounting schemes. And, at truthandaccounting.org, we have this fact-based budgeting outline, and we're trying to get the accounting and budgeting games changed.
She is Sheila Weinberg, founder of Truth in Accounting. Truthandaccounting.org is the website, as she said. And their State of the Cities report is out today. Take a look at it. Sheila, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thanks. Thank you, Dan and Amy.
And she joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
You're listening to Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Insurance claims from wildfires in California topping $11 billion. Teamsters losing a battle with Disney, and there may soon be less snap in Snapchat. Those stories next.
Hi, this is Alexander Green, Chief Investment Strategist for the Oxford Club. Just for a moment, I'd like you to picture the perfect stock. No doubt it would have hundreds of billions in revenue, more than IBM, Facebook, and Google. It would probably be a leader in cutting-edge technology like smartphones and robotics. It would be on the verge of dozens of blockbuster announcements. But most of all, it would be ultra cheap, trading at less than $3 a share. Now, it may seem crazy that such a stock exists, but it does. It's a cutting-edge tech company that has made deals worth hundreds of millions of dollars with Nokia, Microsoft, and Cisco, and a $29.2 billion deal with Apple. It's set to create 50,000 new jobs right here in America, and Donald Trump even calls it the eighth wonder of the world. Yet you've likely never even heard of the stock. Why? Because it trades under a secret name. To find out why the secret $3 stock can help you retire, simply go to OneStockRetirement.com. That's OneStockRetirement.com.
In the wake of last year's deadly California wildfires, insurance claims have been filed for more than $11 billion. California's insurance commissioner says $8 billion of those claims came from damage to the town of Paradise. It was virtually wiped out by the fires. The National Labor Relations Board dealing a setback to the Teamsters Union, which was trying to represent Lyft drivers transporting passengers at Walt Disney World in Florida. The NLRB ruled that Lyft drivers have very different responsibilities than Disney's unionized bus drivers. Snapchat, the popular but money-losing phone app known for disappearing photos and videos, is considering changes that could make posts by users last longer or even, get this, become permanent. What an idea. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 o'clock and 10 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Let me ask you something. What would an extra income stream mean to you every month? How would that change things for you? More vacation time? Could you secure your retirement, spend more time with your family? Well, Online Trading Academy is a leader in training and investment education. Learn about how money is really made in the financial markets and how investing in them could be your pathway to achieving financial freedom. They will help you learn skills designed to be mastered and applied to generate monthly cash flow. At Online Trading Academy, thousands of people just like you have discovered an education path designed to allow them to reinvent themselves and take control of their finances. I'm so impressed with Online Trading Academy that I signed up for my own free class, and you can too. Just call 888-984-TRADE. That's 888-984-TRADE. Get 2 free passes to their next class so you can check this all out. This is a limited opportunity and seats go quickly, so call 888-984-TRADE or visit them online at tradingacademy.com.
Message and data rates may apply. Individual results may vary. See website for details.
But hey, I'm buying a huge flat screen TV so I can finally see it without my glasses.
Why not just get LASIK at the LASIK Vision Institute? That's what I'm doing.
My glasses and contacts are a pain. I'd love to finally get rid of these, but who can afford LASIK?
You can. Because the LASIK Vision Institute is offering dramatically low prices, as low as $220 per eye with an absolutely free consultation. Text START to 350-350. The LASIK Vision Institute has already performed over 1 million procedures. They use advanced FDA-approved LASIK technology that helps the majority of patients achieve 20/20 vision for a fraction of what others charge. Better vision, better value. The LASIK Vision Institute. Make this the year you finally get LASIK for as low as $220 per eye. Text START to 350-350. You'll see for free if LASIK is right for you. That's START to 350-350.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Have you inherited a coin collection and need help figuring out what it's worth? Do you have your own collection that's just sitting around collecting dust? Turn those old coins into cash at Kedzie Coins. Cash in and pay off bills. Use the money for a new set of wheels. Kedzie Coins is also buying scrap silver and gold on the spot, and they'll give you the best fair market prices. They're committed to the strictest standards of excellence and ethics, an accredited precious metals dealer member with family roots in the heart of Chicago and members of the Professional Numismatics Guild. In the market to buy? Kedzie Coins is your destination for one of the largest selections of gold and silver bullion minted in the U.S., an enormous inventory of government-issued world coins and U.S. paper money and currency. Visit KedzieCoins.net to see the full line of available stock, or stop by one of their 3 locations: Kedzie Coins and Jewelry on 59th and Kedzie in Chicago, What a Gem Jewelry and Coins in Berwyn, or their flagship store, Broadway Jewelry and Rare Coins in Kankakee. For more info or an appointment, call 773-436-0777.
AM 560, The Answer.
Yeah.
I like girls. I like stunning. I like shining.
Listen, my volleyball players love this song.
Yeah.
Girls. 5th and 6th grade girls, man.
Uh-huh. All right, so that's Cardi B, and that dingbat is been leveled up by Stephen Colbert to perhaps give the Democrat response to the State of the Union address.
Oh, no.
There's a petition circulating, and it's...
Actually, yeah, I'd welcome that. That would be quite entertaining.
I mean, if you Ocasio-Cortez, Cardi B, tell me the difference. Cardi B was nominated after this video she posted before the partial government shutdown was temporarily resolved.
Hey, y'all, I just want to remind y'all, because it's been a little bit over 3 weeks, okay? It's been a little bit over 3 weeks. Trump is now ordering, as in summoning, federal government workers to go back to work without getting paid. Now, I don't want to hear y'all motherfuckers talking about, oh, but Obama shut down the government for 17 days. Yeah, for health care. So your grandma could check her blood pressure, and you could go check your in the gynecologist with no motherfucking problem. Now, I know a lot of y'all don't care because y'all don't work for the government or y'all probably don't even have a job, but this is really serious, bro.
Her fans
This
don't
is
have
crazy. Like, our country is in a hellhole right now, all for a wall. Like, we really need to take this serious. I feel like we need to take some action. I don't know what type of action because this is not what I do, but I'm scared. This is crazy, and I really feel bad for these people that got to go to work to not get motherfucking paid.
Now, is Cardi B, does she actually talk like that, or was she doing a Rosie Perez impersonation?
I think that's her. I think we've already received our Democratic response
I
before the president delivered it.
I second Colbert's nomination. I would like to hear Cardi B get 3 or 4 minutes on national TV to represent the left in response to whatever the president has to say on the evening of February 5th. Good stuff.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Freddie Gray from The Spectator says Trump hasn't caved. He'll explain at 7:07.
But first, here is Mike Scott.
Preparations underway. Frigid air here. WIND Chicago News Time, 7 o'clock.
Roger Stone returns to court today. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, this time in Washington, D.C.
They want to silence me because I will stand up for Donald Trump.
And like the president, Stone claims he's caught up in a witch hunt and there was no Russian collusion. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave Stone's court appearance comes as Acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker signals the Russia probe is close to a conclusion, telling reporters in a question and answer session.
I hope that we can get the report from Director Mueller as soon as possible.
House Intelligence Committee Chair Adam Schiff tweeted that Whitaker's remark was inappropriate, writing, "While the probe is ongoing, Mueller can speak for himself." President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, telling Fox News, "We prefer that as much of the report as possible is public." Dave.
Now, Rachel Stone is charged with lying and witness tampering and obstruction in a special counsel's probe. It's frigid across the northern U.S.
You can feel the cold through your legs.
She's in Chicago where it's 2 degrees, but tomorrow night it'll drop to minus 21. Not good for people who need to be outside like mail carriers.
3 sweatshirts under here and 2 T-shirts, and then I'm wearing 3 pair of thermals. So, you got to be prepared when you get out here.
And it's even colder from the Dakotas to Wisconsin. Wind chills the next few nights could hit 60 below zero.
Snow and ice across the south. That's the other big story. Atlanta, Georgia, Mobile, Alabama, areas that don't typically see this kind of weather need to be on alert.
That's Fox meteorologist Janice Dean. Now, there are about 1,000 flights that are canceled today. Many of them are to and from either Chicago or Atlanta. PG&E, the nation's biggest utility, went to court early this morning in California to file for bankruptcy protection. The company is facing hundreds of costly lawsuits blaming it for sparking deadly wildfires. And Apple is working on a fix to FaceTime, a glitch in group chat that allows people to hear someone even if they don't answer the FaceTime call. This is Fox News.
Skies are clearing. And right now we have 1 below zero at 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Preparations underway as we brace for what could be record-breaking cold. Mayor Emanuel says the city is implementing all hands on deck.
City workers across agencies and departments have been working around the clock, and they will continue to do that throughout the week. This is a coordinated and comprehensive response to the weather.
Schools in the city and suburbs are closed tomorrow as the frigid cold setting to slam the area. DePaul University, Northwestern, University of Chicago, all closing their campuses on Wednesday. Chicagoans can call 311 to locate the closest warming center. The state is mobilizing an emergency response statewide to the dangerous cold. Metra operating a modified schedule tomorrow because of the extreme cold. Schedules at metrorail.com. South Shore running fewer trains during Wednesday and Thursday's sub-zero wind chills and providing bus service between Michigan City and South Bend. In other news we're following this morning, a man is dead, struck by a snowplow in Libertyville. Police say a village plow truck ran into the man yesterday morning in the 600 block of Bridal Court. A Kenosha, Wisconsin man is facing a reckless homicide charge in the death of a state trooper killed earlier this month. Scott Larson was driving the Jeep that killed Trooper Chris Lambert while he was investigating a crash on the tri-state near Glenview. Children as young as 12 could soon be charged as adults with attempted murder in Indiana. State Senate yesterday overwhelmingly approving a new plan that lowers the age for attempted murder charges. Now, the current law says kids younger than 14 cannot be charged as adults, and that prevented prosecutors from seeking more jail time for a 13-year-old who shot a classmate and a teacher at Noblesville West Middle School last May. Bears have signed kicker Redford Jones. Bulls in Brooklyn tonight play the Nets. Last night in college hoops, Notre Dame lost to number 2 Duke. The news is a service of Accountemps. Finding highly skilled accounting and finance professionals can be a challenge. Accountemps can help. With Accountemps' extensive network of accounting and finance contractors, you can be sure to find the right person for your exact hiring needs. Visit Accountemps.com to learn more. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. A check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Marvel Residences Luxury Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. It's a beautiful, all-inclusive resort located between Rainforest Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport.
I started my business in 1986 and began paying employees. I would handwrite checks and say, "Here you go, don't cash it until Tuesday." That came to a screeching halt when a teenage employee said his dad wanted to see his pay stub. Pay stub? We don't have pay stubs. Get back to work. He said, "Dad works for the government and state law requires I receive a pay stub." Uh-oh. Hi, I'm Mike Capel, CEO of Patriot Software. After many emergency calls, I learned how to correctly withhold payroll taxes and create pay stubs. I avoided handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit that day, barely. That's why I created Patriot Software, to help small business owners do their payroll taxes correctly with pay stubs. And if you need help, we will help you for free. Go to patriotsoftware.com and enter promo code RADIO, and I'll give you 2 months of payroll processing free. That's patriotsoftware.com.
Are you happy with what's looking back at you in the mirror? I'm Dr. Howard Cooper from Excellence in Dentistry, and we'd like to help you with that smile. Whether you're looking to fix 1 or 2 teeth or a whole smile makeover, we can take care of all your dental needs. We have a beautiful modern facility and a great staff. And most importantly, we love what we do. That's what sets us apart from other offices. Let's face it, a dental office is not everyone's favorite place. Whether you're 2 or 102, we make it fun and enjoyable. We perform all types of dentistry as well. Fillings, root canals, crowns, extractions, dentures, implants. We do most everything right in our office. And for you denture wearers, we have a full in-house denture lab and can perform repairs and relines while you wait. We can also talk about adding implants so your denture will snap into place or become screw retained. This is the closest option to natural teeth. We are conveniently located in Gurnee at the corner of Washington and 21 in Saratoga Square. So make today the day you give us a call. 847-244-4000. That's 847-244-4000. Or visit us on the web at GurneeDDS.com. We look forward to seeing you, and remember, second opinions are always free. Excellence in dentistry, creating excellence one smile at a time.
When you could use help closing your books and need additional staff, it's time to call Accountemps. They can provide you with bookkeepers and other accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis. And fast. Call today. Accountemps, a Robert Half company.
7:07, and check on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
We're now seeing a lot of canceled flights at O'Hare and Midway, many for flights later in the day, but at O'Hare we have over 160 cancellations now. Midway, over 270 flights been canceled. Edens is running 30 minutes like Cook to Montrose, outbound 24. Kennedy, 38 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, 18 from Montrose, 16 in the Express. Outbound 36 to the airport, the Eisenhower. Now 50 minutes, 390 to downtown, crash in Sacramento, outbound 42 minutes. Stevenson, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 36. Ride, 40 minutes, 95 to downtown, heavy the Express after some repairs at Garfield. I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the Merge Bishop Ford, 47. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center and meteorologist Steve Williams.
A wind chill advisory today. Windy and cold, clouds and sun, the high 3. Clear, breezy, quite cold tonight and a low at minus 24. For tomorrow, sunny, brisk, a bitter cold day with a high at minus 13. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
1 below at O'Hare with a wind chill of minus 19. In Aurora, minus 3, a wind chill of minus 23. Your next news update is at 7:30. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Trump didn't cave. He may have folded temporarily. But what journalists and many Democrats struggle to understand is that elections are not won and lost in news cycles. That's Freddie Gray writing in The Spectator, arguing against the prevailing narrative that Trump caved in the last week. State of the Union address first, I would argue, and then more importantly, on the partial shutdown. Are we underestimating Trump once again as a political operator, or are we properly estimating him? To explore the argument that Freddie Gray makes, let's talk to Freddie Gray from The Spectator. He's the deputy editor of The Spectator, former literary editor for the American Conservative. Freddie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. I hope you're keeping warm.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, we have space heaters.
Yes,
attached to our bodies.
right,
We're going to be just fine.
We're hunkered
Quite
down.
Quite a weather report I just heard.
Yeah, it's brutal in Chicago, and then there's the weather. Freddie, let me just understand something. So Trump said, look, months, maybe a year. Trump said, I'll take the mantle, I'll own it. And then on first appearance, it looks like in this game of brinkmanship, he blinked. But you're suggesting that this is just a retrenchment, that is this retreat for a glorious finish. Explain what you think Trump is doing.
Well, I don't know about the glorious finish. We'll have to wait and see on that. But I think the sort of constant harping we've had since Friday, that he caved, we hear that word over and over again, is just a bit premature. I think, Trump has clearly backed off. He has blinked, as he said, but he's also a, sophisticated poker player. And he knows that sometimes you have to fold, or as the French say, you have to reculer pour mieux avancer. You have to go back to go forwards better.
Dan says that on a daily basis.
Sure. Yeah. You like to use the French before it's a dead language. Sure.
So what do you think? I mean, but Nancy Pelosi, she doesn't seem one to bluff. And I personally think that she won the shutdown battle because she waited him out. She waited till things got bad and there were ground stoppages at the airport. I mean, I know that you don't think he caved, but then why did he give up? What do you think was the final straw?
Well, I do think he's up against a tough operator in Pelosi. This is the woman who got the Affordable Care Act through. She stands up to him in a way that he perhaps hasn't faced before, and certainly he hasn't had to deal with a mixed house, with a split house before. But nevertheless, I think that, again, with Pelosi, we see this sort of amazing cheerleading for her going on, and people calling her the queen, and they're pretending that she's incredibly popular, and she's not. Look at her favorability ratings; they're about 38%. I mean, the Democrats make a big mistake if they think that Pelosi is the woman who's going to destroy Trump.
Do you think that Trump is doing an effective job making the case and fully leveraging the bully pulpit, not just for border security, but also in response to the hysteria being generated by the D.C. press corps on behalf of Pelosi and on behalf of all of the saintly federal workers? Yesterday, Wall Street Journal reported with respect to those delays at some of the airports, American Airlines, Southwest Airlines, Alaska Group, JetBlue, said on Thursday they could increase their revenues in the first quarter despite the shutdown. You had shares climb for both Southwest and JetBlue by more than 5%. They said that passengers would soon face worse delays and more canceled flights if the partial shutdown dragged on further, but they also were making accommodations to continue running their businesses and apparently profitably. So it seems to me Republicans sometimes are afraid to make their case. They're just responding to whatever hysteria is directed their way.
Yes, I think the hysteria was certainly evident and true. I mean, you're right to say it was hysterical, but nonetheless, I do think he was losing. The polls look as though he was losing public opinion over the shutdown, and therefore, I think blinking in this instance might actually be quite a shrewd thing to have done. In that it irritates his base, but it does what people in Washington it's called triangulating. It makes him. It annoys his base, but it reaches across the middle to people who are worried about immigration, but also think that federal workers should be paid, and even if those fears are hysterical, there's nonetheless a point there that people feel quite strongly.
With the State of the Union address scheduled now for February 5th, it would seem to me that it would make a lot of sense for Trump to reiterate the compromise he proposed the weekend before last and really pound on that. There's a lot of, when people actually understand the details of what he proposed as a compromise and the benefit it would convey to 800,000 DACA recipients, for example, there's a lot of positivity, even from unusual quarters like the editorial page of the Washington Post. And so it seems like that's a very strong hand for Trump to play, and he can't let that be forgotten, that he is willing to meet Democrats halfway on things they've previously supported and really press the Democrats in the 10 days that are remaining before the potential of another shutdown.
Well, that's right. And by toying with Trump over this speech, I mean, a lot of people think Pelosi has pulled off a masterstroke, but she's also given him an enormous stage. I mean, it's an enormous stage, but it's going to be the biggest ever stage, possibly. And Trump could, if he gets it right, he could really pound home his message, as you said.
Now, you wrote in your article about food banks that were set up during the shutdown, and were there actually federal employees taking advantage, or were there other people?
Well, I didn't see any of the food banks. I mean, the only one I went to actually was there was a sort of, this was the most typically Washington thing ever. There was a Whole Foods pasta night. And the people I saw, there were a couple of furloughed employees. Mm-hmm. I have to be truthful, but the majority were just people going along for sort of the sense of community and coming together and agreeing that Trump was awful and eating a lot of free, rather delicious pasta. I had some myself.
Yeah, I in this age of sui generis self-identification, I am now going to identify as a non-essential employee, so that I can get the taxpayer guarantees, the media profiles, the unconditional love from Fortune 500 companies, and be recognized as the wingnut holding Western civilization together. I think that's a smart play.
I'll join you. I'm spectacularly non-essential.
Look at all the benefits. It's remarkable.
Yeah.
And by the way, one other, just sticking on federal employees for a second, one other egregious misreporting is the kind of gross domestic product impact of this a 4-week furlough of 800,000 employees, where this is going to, even Jamie Dimon joining in the hysteria to say this could shrink our first quarter GDP to zero and so on and so forth. The actual impact, as measured by serious economists, even half serious economists at the CBO, is negligible in our $21 trillion economy.
Yeah. Well, and as people have remarked to me, the shutdown was always going to be resolved before the IRS starts collecting taxes, right?
Yeah. So in 17 days, we could be doing this again. Do you think that there will be another government shutdown?
I think it's likely that there will be. I think Trump will probably push this again, and we'll have to go through this whole sorry saga once more.
And you think he'll be in a stronger position for having provided this 3 weeks to reach a deal? And okay, I gave you another 3 weeks. I gave everybody what they wanted, no deal, and so so here we are again.
Yes, I think he's done what a lot of people felt he had to do, which was shown a willingness to compromise, and we'll see on the specifics of that. But I think he's not in a weaker position, despite what everyone is crowing about.
He is Freddie Gray. He is the deputy editor of The Spectator, former literary editor of the American Conservative. Freddie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
When it's cold outside, you can dress for it. But when your furnace gives out, hey, a blanket fort can only do so much. So call your local 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. We'll replace your old furnace with a new high-efficiency one. And that beats a bunch of blankets any day. Right now, cozy up to big savings on a complete heating system. Call 855-1-HOUR.
Your comfort is just a call away. Call 1 Hour.
Terms and conditions may apply. Call for details. Independently owned and operated. Licensed in the respective state or county.
Alrighty. Another new year has come and gone, and if you're a business owner and still haven't done anything about your company's network and computer system, listen closely. You and your employees suffer every time something goes wrong with your network. And in most cases, it can take days to hire an IT person to fix it. Maybe you've been lucky and everything's running fine, but how long will that last? Whether you've experienced technical trouble or not, when you do, it does cost your company money. But it doesn't have to. Don't wait for a crisis. Turnkey IT can help make 2019 the year you've prepared for anything technology throws at you. You'll be set up for success and get in front of the many technical issues that can overwhelm a business. Turnkey IT specializes in the preventative steps to keep you going. So get on it, and for a limited time, get free lunch for the decision makers of your company. When you have Turnkey IT, do a complimentary network audit of your systems. Now, even if you have a current IT company, a second opinion never hurts. Leave the technical stuff to the pros so you can focus on the important things. Visit turnkey.pro today. That's turnkey.pro.
My name is Sophia, and my mom is one of the 220,000 in Illinois living with Alzheimer's. I'm constantly thinking about her, and when I heard 60% of those diagnosed with Alzheimer's will wander at some point, I was worried. Silver Search is a new tool in Illinois to help locate those missing with Alzheimer's or another dementia. Go to silversearchillinois.org to learn more on how Illinois is working to protect its citizens and learn how you can help.
Sponsored by the Alzheimer's Association.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
If you're a realtor or managing broker purchasing online leads, please listen to this important message. Team Hochberg and the Miller Mortgage Group at Homeside Financial have developed a proprietary lead conversion system called LCS, which helped Kevin Glover of RE/MAX Professionals quadruple his online lead conversion. Team Hochberg and the Miller Mortgage Group would like to invite realtors and managing brokers to a complimentary lunch at White Eagle Country Club in Naperville on Thursday, January 31st to hear Kevin explain how LCS helped him increase his sales from $980,000 to $9.8 million last year. To register for the complimentary lead conversion system luncheon, go to 56david.com and click on the events tab. The LCS is complimentary for all our realtor partners. Seating is limited, so please go to 56david.com and click on the events tab to register to learn how to convert more online leads and sell more homes.
Homeside Financial Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MV 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
Dan Proft here.
And I'm Amy Jacobson, and we wanted to take a minute to say thanks. Thank you to each and every one of you who participated in our annual Food for the Poor campaign.
Because of you, we were able to raise more than $175,000 to provide food for a year and clean water for life for more than 2,200 children and their families in Haiti.
And we're especially grateful to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign. When you hear their ads on this station, we'd ask that you support their business as a way of thanking them for their generosity. And just because the Christmas season is over,
and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need goes away. You can still make a $50 donation to Food for the Poor.
Just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
Or visit 560theanswer.com/food. That's 560theanswer.com/food. And thanks again for your generosity.
AM 560, The Answer.
They got the beat, the campus beat, the campus beat. Yeah, the campus beat.
Yeah, you've already heard from Hillsdale College President Larry Arnn about the inclement weather. When asked by students if Wednesday's classes would be canceled, he replied, quote, wear clothes, unquote. That's a no.
Wow.
George,
cover your extremities.
Yes, thank you, Governor Pritzker.
You're welcome.
Where could we get leadership from young people on this impasse? Border security funding in exchange for legal status for DACA designees?
Yeah.
On the campus of George Mason University, perhaps? Campus Reform, campusreform.org, sent their media director, his name is Cabot Phillips, to George Mason University to query students about the partial shutdown. Who's to blame? Do you like the deal that Trump proposed? Did you know that he offered it? Should Pelosi accept it? Fascinating to hear this selection of young people on the campus of George Mason University. It's encouraging and discouraging at the same time. Take a listen. Who's to blame?
What's your thought on who's to blame for the shutdown?
The president.
I think specifically Trump. Since this has been the longest government shutdown, he is mainly responsible.
Personally, Trump.
I would definitely say Trump.
I would say mostly on Trump.
Maybe get the government working again, like that would be good.
Oh, like that would be so good.
Okay.
Yeah, Trump is probably to blame.
Yeah. So I'm sure that's not influenced by the professors on campus or the media that they consume. Of course not. So Trump's to blame. What if Trump offered a deal? Three-pronged.
If President Trump were to make some of the concessions that Democrats have been asking for, like protection for DACA Dreamers, $800 million for humanitarian aid, extra funding for judges to get some of the immigration cases moving, if he were to offer those three things, do you think the Democrats should consider compromising on their end?
Yes, they should.
What do you think?
Yeah, I would agree. I think that they should compromise.
I think that would be a good start.
They should allow some funding for the wall for now if Trump were to agree to some of their terms as well.
Getting the government working and getting those protections for like Dreamers, that's obviously super important. And if like conceding like a small portion of that, of something that's probably not going to be done, it's like kind of a bittersweet kind of.
Even like the Valley Girl, like that.
Oh my God.
Well, what would you say?
Yeah.
If I told you it was Folger's car? What would I say if I told you? What would you say if I told you that Trump has proposed precisely that?
Did you know President Trump actually has offered that already?
Really? No, I didn't know.
Yeah. Are you surprised by that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on that?
I don't know.
So are you surprised by him offering those compromises?
I would say yeah. I would say it is pretty surprising.
Okay, that's awesome then. You know, I'm obviously behind a little. Last time I checked, it just said 31 days shutdown.
I'm pleasantly surprised that he's offered those things for sure.
Do you think the Democrats should have taken the compromise President Trump offered?
I do think so. The compromise isn't worth it to them, I guess.
Would you say Pelosi should consider compromising on that or hold the line? What do you think?
I think anything that gets things going again. Yeah. It was the wrong move for her to turn it down.
What would be your message to Nancy Pelosi in response to shooting down that offer?
Compromise. Just get the Democrats to, budge, and that's basically all. There's not much.
I'm learning a lot. That's what I can say for sure.
Okay.
Fun.
Cool.
I don't know, maybe on her end, maybe she should have a more open mind.
Get the government working again.
Take the compromise.
Yeah.
It's the Democrats not giving in to the Republicans.
Correct.
So they don't want to fund the wall at all.
Correct.
And that's why the shutdown is currently happening.
Wow. How about those light bulbs going off? I mean,
that scares me.
But it also speaks to the position Trump is in to pound the compromise he proposed. Of course, it's not being given the airtime that the shutdown clock is given on CNN or MSNBC, but he is in a strong, persuasive position if he restates and reiterates his proposal. The State of the Union, before the State of the Union, after the State of the Union. If you can move those mushy skulls on the campus of George Mason University, then you can move just about anybody.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Noah Rothman channels Voltaire in suggesting that social justice is neither social nor justice at 7:37.
And later, a Chicago TV station that has a lot of political connections. Who knew? We'll break it down for you. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunrise, clear skies, 1 below at O'Hare. Wind chill of minus 14 right now, but temperatures are continuing to go colder, and wind chills will also drop into the negative digits throughout the morning. 2 Houston police officers are in critical but stable condition after being shot while attempting to serve a search warrant yesterday. The head of the Texas Police Union is furious after the officers were shot.
And if you're the ones that are out there spreading the rhetoric that police officers are the enemy, well, just know we've all got your number now. We're going to be keeping track of all of y'all, and we're going to make sure that we hold you accountable every time you stir the pot on our police officers.
2 other officers were shot. They're expected to remain hospitalized through the next day. Roger Stone is expected to plead not guilty in federal court in Washington, D.C. in the Mueller probe. The utility company liable, according to California attorneys, for damages in Northern California's deadly campfires, declaring bankruptcy. PG&E filed for Chapter 11 protection this morning, citing wildfires in 2017 and 18. Preparations are underway as the city of Chicago and the surrounding counties brace for what could be the record-breaking cold weather tonight into tomorrow. That brutal cold is impacting airlines at O'Hare and at Midway. Pat Connett's just trying to get home.
We went online to find out that it was canceled, and we've been scrambling to try to get home today because he has a doctor's appointment tomorrow.
She's scrambling to get to Denver. Forecasters say temps here again will drop well below zero beginning tonight. Wind chills as low as minus 55. Chicago Public Schools will close tomorrow. DePaul and Northwestern universities and the University of Chicago will begin closing their campuses this afternoon and evening and should be closed, according to their reports, tomorrow as well. Metra operating a modified schedule. Check your schedules at metrorail.com, and the South Shore running fewer trains than normal. Sun-Times reporting that retiring Alderman Danny Solis received sex acts, Viagra, and a war chest full of campaign contributions in exchange for moving official city council legislation, according to allegations in a federal court affidavit obtained by the Chicago Sun-Times. The allegations are contained in an expansive search warrant application that helps explain why Solis, then chairman of the city council's zoning committee, agreed to spend more than 2 years cooperating in a federal sting, during which prosecutors had him secretly recording at least a dozen conversations with Alderman Ed Burke. The affidavit also alleges that among the people recorded as part of the Solis investigation was Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan. Chicago sports, Bears saying they've signed kicker Redford Jones to challenge Cody Parkey. Bulls in Brooklyn tonight to take on the Nets. The college hardwood last night, Notre Dame lost to number 2 Duke, 83-61. The news service of Accountemps, payroll bookkeeping month end. Are you feeling short-staffed? Accountemps can provide accounting and finance professionals on a temporary or project basis when you need them to help with increased workloads. Call them today or visit Accountemps.com. Accountemps, a Robert Half company. 7:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager explains why the left does what it does.
Feeling good about yourself is the motto of the left. I am moral, I am wonderful, I fight for this, I fight for that. These are people who have aimless lives. The essence of leftism is meaning for the aimless, purpose for the purposeless.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Chuck Spaveri, CEO of Spaveri's Custom Counters, a Chicagoland manufacturer of residential and commercial countertops. If there's a local commercial bank who knows how to get a deal done, it's Signature Bank. When my brother and I needed it, Signature Bank came through with a creative financing solution. That's because Signature Bank has experience working with companies like ours, a second-generation, family-owned and operated manufacturer. Our business matters to Signature Bank, and that comes through in every visit and every phone call with their team, right up to the bank's co-founders, Kevin, Mick, and Brian. Spaveri's is proud to bank with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. To learn more about turning your business vision into reality, visit signaturebank.bank. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Social media is a big part of just about everyone's lives. It's everywhere. Is your business using it to your advantage? If you're not effectively using social media marketing, you could be losing sales by the second. Even worse, your customers can be grabbed up one by one, never to return. With most of the population shopping online every day, your business needs an effective selling presence on social media. You need Salem Surround. Take the mystery of digital marketing out of your busy schedule. Salem Surround delivers the customers so you can run your business. Your competition is already social. Catch them and pass them by, making every digital dollar count towards sales success. With Salem Surround, there are no limitations on where you can reach customers and achieve total market penetration for increased ROI. Get a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness and suggested methods that could dramatically increase your sales. Learn more by logging on to surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com, connecting you with new customers. Check out Ground Game, the latest podcast from the Associated Press discussing the top political issues around the country. Available on Apple Podcasts.
7:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Metro reports cancellations on the Union Pacific North Line. Mechanical failures. There are hundreds of flights canceled at O'Hare and especially at Midway. John Eden's delay start at Peterson, 25 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose. Kennedy, 47 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 24 from Montrose, 23 in the Express. On Eisenhower, it's an hour, 390 to downtown, 43 minutes from Manheim. A stalled semi at Sacramento, blocking the acceleration lane. Stevenson, an hour and 8 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan, 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 35 minutes, I to the merge. Bishop Ford, 47. Westbound Tri-State, heavy, 95th to 31st, and from Reagan Tollway to the Bensonville Bridge. It's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, clouds and sun. Windy, much colder. That extreme cold can be dangerous, so take care. We've already hit our high today of 3 above, currently 1 below at O'Hare with a wind chill of 19 below, 0 at Midway with a wind chill of minus 22, in Aurora minus 3 with a wind chill of minus 23. Your next news update is at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Make sure to check out the Income Store live video stream of today's show right now at 560theanswer.com.
Only the biggest stories, only the biggest guests, and only the biggest opinions. This is AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. Now I've got it. I finally understand what the difference between Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuelan despot, is. You know what the difference is?
What?
Her skincare routine. Thank you, Instagram. People want me to post my skincare routine, she wrote in Instagram. I don't want to seem too product placement-y.
I've been waiting. Is that
Do
even a
product
word?
placement T. It's like tippy top.
Tippy tappy tap tap.
So I'm not going to go crazy with brands, but here's the gist. And she recommends a double cleansing. First using a balm or oil to melt off the makeup, then using a soapy cleanser to wash your skin.
And then you get the Ocasio-Cortez glow.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm
Thank
gonna-
you. This beauty tip brought to you by Dan Proft.
I'm going to try it.
You know what?
Yeah.
Let's do it tomorrow because everyone's going to be off and not a lot of people will be in their cars,
Yeah.
You can just do an on-air facial.
Thank you, Ocasio-Cortez. Interesting, the reaction to the prospect of deposing a dictator who, along with his predecessor Chavez, has destroyed a nation and plunged tens of millions of people into life-threatening poverty.
Yeah.
The reaction from some of the leading lights of the left, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar from Minnesota, a U.S.-backed coup in Venezuela is not a solution to the dire issues they face. Is a coup, is that what's going on in support of Guaido, or is it a revolt against the Marxist dictator? Tulsi Gabbard, in case you thought she was a moderate because she served in the military. The United States needs to stay out of Venezuela, let the Venezuelan people determine their future. Well, that's sort of what's happening with some encouragement by the United States in the form of recognizing Guaido, in the form of offering humanitarian aid, in the form of trying to free the Venezuelan people from the despotism under which they've suffered.
Well, John Bolton yesterday said that all options are on the table. He had a real quick press briefing. But I scribbled on his yellow pad, Dan, it said 5,000 troops to Colombia. So that, everybody was inquiring about that, but he was tight-lipped.
This piece from last month, Christina Solbaran lives in Venezuela. The Maduro diet. Just to put a human face on it, try and give you a sense of it.
What's going on?
I know you've been perhaps watching some of it on TV, but the descent began in the early 2000s when the Hugo Chavez government began to take control of elections, private companies, the judiciary, and the police. The descent turned into a nosedive when Maduro came to power and the state tightened its grip on oil production, our country's main source of revenue. Investors fled, skilled workers emigrated. As living standards plummeted, the response was to print more money. Hyperinflation has been the result. The young are all leaving Venezuela. Some due to the inflation, lack of work, others because of security fears. We don't go out after dark. Those who do take huge risks. A friend's son was kidnapped on his way back from the cinema, the perpetrators demanding an extortionate ransom. Tragically, kidnappings work. I'm 69 and retired now. I feel too old to leave. Compared with others, I count my blessings. However, even basic medicines are increasingly scarce now in Venezuela. I'm lucky to have a son who sends me my thyroid pills from abroad. Every day I go to the supermarket in the hope of finding the supplies I need, but I'm almost always disappointed. On my last visit, I was looking for the basics: vegetable oil, sugar, milk, flour, bread, butter. But there was nothing on the shelves, just a few bags of crisps, some loo paper, and tins of sardines. Most of what I need is on the black market. And she goes on just to recount these stories that I think are being revisited, as well they should be, with the prospect of regime change in Venezuela that is organic. We didn't pick Guaido and put him in Caracas. And so the Democrats' response to me, in the face of what we know is the reality on the ground, is remarkable. For more on this and other topics, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Noah Rothman. He is the associate editor for Commentary Magazine, and he's got a new book out on just social justice and the unmaking of America, and we'll get to that. Noah, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
What about the left's response to the happenings in Venezuela?
Well, I think you've seen actually a pretty reasonable response from Democrats, Senate Democrats, including Dick Durbin and Chuck Schumer, and even Bernie Sanders, believe it or not, who still paid obeisance to some of these diktats of the far left, but he wasn't totally opposed to what is a very constitutional process that is happening in Venezuela that has created these two parallel regimes. It is hardly a coup. What you've seen, however, from the far left, the new Democratic class, members of the so-called Democratic Socialists, has been this nostalgic throwback to a time and place in which the Soviet menace was expansive all over the world, and American interventionism and secret plots was sort of the way in which American foreign policy was conducted. It has no bearing on the present status of what's happening in Venezuela and the moral compromises that these members of the far left have made in order to justify their support for a bloody and incompetent socialist regime have been huge moral compromises and really sapped them of credibility on the issue. They've made some really bad calculations here.
Do you think the U.S. should insert themselves and bring in some military might? I mean, you did see that still shot of Bolton on his notepad saying 5,000 troops to Colombia?
Yeah, I sort of find it hard to believe that the National Security Advisor, one little line scribbled on his outward-facing legal pad, would announce our deployments to a country that is very much not a matter of deployment at this point. It's not a matter of intervention militarily. That said, the fact that we've seen quite a lot of commentators, both in the press and on the Democratic left, saying that this is the phrase "all options are on the table" is prelude to war, is nonsensical. It's the sort of thing that you say as a matter of course. Barack Obama said it just about every time the issue of Iran came up, even though everybody knew that all options were not on the table. To say all options are not on the table is to invite provocation. And one of the reasons why our diplomats are still there is because we are recognizing this alternative government, the legal government of the National Assembly leader, Juan Guaido. And in order for that to be an effective deterrent to any sort of provocation by this military, we have to back that with a threat of force. And that's just competent statecraft. And I think people understand that at an intuitive level, but to admit that would be to give the Trump administration credit for what has been a really competent process. They've handled this in a really very deft fashion, coordinating responses across the Western Hemisphere and putting the military on its back foot and forcing Maduro to compromise and to view his own position as very tenuous. I think they've done a very good job, actually, and they deserve some credit for that, but that's anathema to the Democratic left.
Just sticking with that new Democrat socialist class you were talking about, Michigan Representative Rashida Tlaib, she now of the infamy of saying we have to impeach that MFer, right? And now she's a big celebrity, too, because of that grand insight, that courageous statement. She sort of in a bit of more hot water, maybe, at least in some quarters, because of this fundraiser ally of hers, a Palestinian activist named Maher Abdel Kader, who in a 2018 video described Jews as satanic. He questioned the Holocaust. Research the truth about the Holocaust, and you'll definitely start to question what you thought you knew, the video's narrator says. What about the and we saw this controversy of around this Democrat socialist anti-Semitism around the Women's PHAT March a couple of weeks ago as well. What about this anti-Semitism among some of the Democrat socialist stars and its relative tolerance by many on the left, including corporate America?
Well, we've seen an increasing trend among the left in America towards a sort of uniformity with the European left, and it's becoming more and more apparent that anti-Semitism is a very big part of that coalition. The labor movement, the Labour Party movement in the UK has been fending off accusations of anti-Semitism and losing members left and right over one anti-Semitism scandal after another for quite some time, and they're presently led by Jeremy Corbyn, who is a supporter of Hamas and Hezbollah in rhetoric as well as action, and has embraced some of the diktats of an anti-Semitic movement called BDS, Boycott, Sanctions, and Divestment, which seeks to stigmatize any effort to work with social, non-governmental, legal, or political institutions in the world's only Jewish state. That meets the working definition of anti-Semitism as anyone has defined it, but that's also something, the BDS movement is also something to which people like Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and others in the ascendant wing of the Democratic Party have paid fealty to. They think that it's a reasonable response to Israeli foreign policy. And it's indistinguishable in many ways from rank anti-Semitism. And it necessitates that you form coalitions with some of these people who are, as you say, just this side of supporters of bloody terrorist acts in Israel and around the world targeting Jews. So it's, as you say, it's sort of like a part and parcel of this intellectual evolution of the far left of the Democratic Party, that in order to embrace these ideas of global and international egalitarianism that they supposedly support, that you have to also embrace the murder and the stigmatization of being Jewish.
Well, this is a perfect segue to your book, Unjust, in which you channel Voltaire and his comment on the Holy Roman Empire being neither holy nor Roman. Social justice, neither social nor just. Explain what you mean.
Well, I suppose for Americans who aren't really deeply involved in this movement, the idea of social justice can just seem like a unobjectionable catch-all for all things good, just sort of an American idea of fairness and equality and even reparative relations for historical wrongs, of which there are many, and they are real and valid. But it has become, in the hands of its activist class, an embittering and retributive philosophy that necessitates racial hierarchies and downward social leveling and a programmatic governmental response to historical conditions that the programmatic governmental response cannot meet, and also creates the idea in these activists that their activism is insufficient, that working within the political system is not going to achieve the processes necessary to affect this kind of historical righting of wrongs, and so they either withdraw from the political system or, worse, embrace extra political activities and become violent. And that is the evolution that I identify in this book. It talks about the silly and the serious aspects of social justice activism, the narcissism that it encourages in its members, and the ways in which it transforms its adherents into something that doesn't resemble an egalitarian American ideal, but something much more European and far more antithetical to the idea of a social compact around which the United States is generally formed. So it's well, I think, a pretty dangerous idea. It's mostly on the left, but it is not exclusive to the left. And while it's a small phenomenon, it's increasing in popularity, and that popularity needs to be arrested immediately. And so I identify some ways in which you can see social justice in the wild, look at it and know what you're looking at, and then hope to stigmatize it and isolate it and stop this progress before it's too late.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me one of the things you're getting at in the book is about explaining these contradictions, right? The misnomers. Von Mises, talking about socialists many moons ago, said liberals don't believe in liberty. Now, that seems to be a contradiction in terms, but it needs to be explained so you understand exactly what the underlying substance of the kind of top-line appellation really implicates.
Yeah, Friedrich Hayek actually wrote a very powerful attack on the Rawlsian idea of social justice, which, by the way, even social justice activists have abandoned at this point. They're no longer invested in equality. Equality is actually counterproductive. It would blind its adherents to the historical grievances that are suffered by individuals who have very distinct traits, and to blind oneself to those distinct traits is morally obtuse. What Hayek said about social justice is that it is essentially antithetical to itself. Once you append social basically onto any word, it dilutes the meaning of the word that it is supposedly modifying. But it is the idea that you have to create institutions, the Rawlsian idea that you have to create institutions that will mete out justice in a disparate fashion. And so those institutions, in order to achieve equality, have to treat individuals very differently. And once that institution dedicates itself to that process, it is no longer a just institution. It is creating for itself a radicalizing concept that will necessitate discrimination and downward leveling. So one of the things, affirmative action used to be this idea that you have to build certain segments of the population up because they've been historically wronged. Positive discrimination. And the effect of that was negative discrimination too, but that was sort of voce. It was collateral damage, and it wasn't the desired effect, but it was just something that happened along the way. Now, negative downward social leveling for social justice activists is the point. If there's any positive leveling that attributes to that, well, it's all well and good, but that's not the whole point of this process. The point of this process is to achieve retribution and to put certain classes where they belong. That's a dangerous philosophy. It's an embittering philosophy, and it's one that I think needs to be stopped.
He is Noah Rothman. His thought-provoking new book, you want to pick it up, Unjust, Social Justice and the Unmaking of America. You can also catch his writings always at Commentary Magazine. Noah, thanks for joining us. Good luck with the book.
My pleasure. Thank you.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Hey everyone, Carrie here. For years, you've heard my husband, Ken,
hello, Radioland,
explain how Income Store is the place for your next revenue stream. Not to date ourselves, but Ken and I have been helping individuals and businesses grow their revenue since before the internet was even a thing. We've heard countless stories as to why people look to increase their revenue.
Some stories make us laugh, some make us cry.
These stories, combined with our own, have motivated Ken and I to dedicate our lives to help people, as Ken says, who need a revenue shot in the backside.
Whether you want to just learn how or simply put, you need to generate revenue today. Our mission is to serve both.
Our worldwide staff of over 150 help to create amazing resources, our most famous being the iTunes podcast.
Today's growth. You got to check out episode 383. It's truly amazing.
And both Inc. and Forbes have shared that when it comes to generating revenue, Income Store is a can't miss. To grow your revenue today, check out IncomeStore.com.
That's IncomeStore.com.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
The most popular days to get engaged are Christmas, New Year's, and Valentine's Day. And guys, finding the perfect wedding venue can be harder to figure out than the color and quality of the perfect diamond. With love in the air, Avante Banquets is here to help you plan the wedding of your dreams for the party of a lifetime at a price right for you. Avante Banquets is part of the family-owned Chicago Prime Restaurants with a picturesque location opened just last year near Barrington, providing fine American dining and a timeless experience. Avante is an exceptional space for your wedding or corporate events and fundraisers for an intimate gathering or parties of 500 or more. The calendar is filling up, so secure your date today at AvanteBanquets.com. That's AVANTE Banquets.com. With wedding packages starting at just $39 a person. Experience exceptional hospitality with the Calcunos family at Avante Banquets, because classic never goes out of style. AvanteBanquets.com. AvanteBanquets.com.
With so many homeowners fearful of poor service and not knowing who to trust, home remodeling is often delayed. But do you ever wonder why so many remodeling experiences go so wrong? Advanced Design Studio thinks remodeling shouldn't be so painful. Will the project stay on budget and be done on time? If you're nervous about home remodeling, you're not alone. Whether you're contemplating a new kitchen or bath, want an addition to your home, or in need of a whole house transformation, Advanced Design Studio is the company to call. They understand your fears and know how to overcome them. Backed by 27 years of providing positive remodeling experiences, Advanced Design's client service process, called Common Sense Remodeling, puts you first, averting delays and budget overruns to produce a rewarding remodeling experience. Make 2019 the year you overcome your fears and remodel your home, bath, or kitchen. Don't be a bad remodeling story. Use common sense and visit AdvancedDesignStudio.com for more information or call 847-836-2600.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-444-2013. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-444-2013. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-444-2013. 800-444-2013.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
A cookie makes the left crumble, and we'll ask George Will if a Howard Schultz for president candidacy would help Trump or the Democrats. That's at 8:08.
And later, how you can escape with us to warm Mexico. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Blue skies and sunshine, but do not be fooled. Preparations are underway as we brace for the frigid sub-zero cold that's blanketing the area. Flights are canceled due to the record cold, and metro delays are reported on the South Shore and other lines. Schools and colleges are also closing ahead of the bitter cold tomorrow. WIND Chicago News Time is 8 o'clock.
It's cold. I'm Dave Anthony. Fox News. Arctic across the northern U.S. More frigid than it's been in years in some areas.
I think we're kind of prepared for it to be really cold and for us to hibernate inside.
Well, she's in Illinois, and so is Fox's Jeff Manasso live in Chicago.
Dave, it feels like minus 21 in Fargo, minus 12 in Minneapolis, and 5 below for now here in Chicago. That's just the start of the plunge into life-threatening cold temps and wind chills of 45 to 60 below expected from the Dakotas to Cleveland into tomorrow.
Not excited for it one bit.
We go to a school that doesn't have buses. I've seen a lot of kids that don't even have jackets on, so I'm worried.
I think it's really bad. I think everybody should be off.
Amen. Schools and businesses across the region closed today and tomorrow, and warming stations are open as officials also warn to stay home if you can and keep your pets indoors. Dave.
And Jeff, it's also wintry in the deep south. Areas from Louisiana to the Carolinas will get snow and ice. More than 1,000 flights are canceled. In a few hours, Roger Stone will be back in court, this time in Washington, to face lying, obstruction, and witness tampering charges. The latest Trump associate indicted by the special counsel, but Stone tells Fox.
There is no Russian collusion. I had no collaboration with WikiLeaks. I'm not charged with conspiracy. Believe me, if they could have made that case, they would have.
2 police officers are critical but stable in Houston the morning after they and 3 other cops were wounded, serving a warrant searching for drugs when 2 guys started shooting.
We are sick and tired of having dirtbags trying to take our lives when all we're trying to do is protect this community and protect our families. Enough is enough.
That's Police Union President Joe Gamaldi. The 2 gunmen were killed when cops fired back. Apple's working on a fix to FaceTime, a glitch in group chat.
Allows one FaceTime user calling another to listen in while the recipient's Apple device is still ringing, even if that person never accepts the call. Apple has since disabled the group FaceTime feature.
Fox Business Network's Tracy Carrasco. This is Fox.
Sunshine. 2 below 0, Jeff Manasso. Not 5 below, 2 below. 8:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. Preparations are underway. Chicago braces for what could be record-breaking cold. Mayor Rahm Emanuel says all the city has hands on deck to ensure that everyone is going to be safe. Meantime, dozens of warming centers around the city and throughout Cook County have been opened as a safety precaution. Chicago Public Schools already closing tomorrow as the frigid cold is set to hit the area. DePaul University, Northwestern, University of Chicago shutting down this afternoon, evening, and tonight into tomorrow as well. And some, like Northwestern, closed through noon on Thursday. Metra operating a modified schedule as a result of the extreme cold. South Shore line trains also running fewer trains tomorrow. Railroad providing bus service between Michigan City and South Bend. In other stories we're following this morning, the Sun-Times is reporting that retiring Alderman Danny Solis received sex acts, Viagra, and a war chest of campaign contributions in exchange for moving official city council legislation. That, according to allegations in an explosive federal court affidavit obtained by the Chicago Sun-Times. That affidavit also alleges that among the people recorded as part of the Solis investigation was Illinois House Speaker Mike Madigan, a Democrat from Chicago. A Kenosha, Wisconsin man faces reckless homicide charges in the death of a state trooper earlier this month in the northern suburbs. Scott Larson was driving a Jeep that struck and killed Trooper Chris Lambert while he was investigating a crash on the Tri-State near Glenview. Students are concerned after racial slurs were found written on a dorm at DePauw University. Follows a number of racially charged incidents reported on campus in 2018. Bulls in Brooklyn tonight to play the Nets. The college hardwood Notre Dame lost to number 2 Duke 83-61. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. And from the Fox Business Network, here is Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, more earnings news from corporate America. Verizon is reporting a mixed quarter. Harley-Davidson's business was disappointing. Motorcycle sales declined more than 6% around the world. And Pfizer lost money in the recent quarter. That's because of expenses included in acquiring another business. Its forecast for the year is disappointing. Utility PG&E has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy reorganization. In a statement, the company says it is not going out of business. It expects there will be no disruption to service, and it is continuing to provide electricity and natural gas. Apple is working on a fix for a glitch in its FaceTime video chat system that could let callers listen in while the device is still ringing. An update is expected later this week. Apple's earnings are released after the Wall Street close. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Jenny Cosola.
It's 8:05, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Winter stinks. Snow, ice, freezing temperatures, more snow. Escape Chicago and join Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. You'll stay at the Marvel Residences Luxury Resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. It's a beautiful, all-inclusive resort located between Rainforest Mountains and the Pacific Ocean. Don't wait to book your Passport to Paradise trip with AM 560 and Apple Vacations. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. That's 560theanswer.com/passport.
Have you inherited a coin collection and need help figuring out what it's worth? Do you have your own collection that's just sitting around collecting dust? Turn those old coins into cash at Kedzie Coins. Cash in and pay off bills. Use the money for a new set of wheels. Kedzie Coins is also buying scrap silver and gold on the spot, and they'll give you the best fair market prices. They're committed to the strictest standards of excellence and ethics, an accredited precious metals dealer member with family roots in the heart of Chicago and members of the Professional Numismatics Guild. In the market to buy, Kedzie Coins is your destination for one of the largest selections of gold and silver bullion minted in the U.S., an enormous inventory of government-issued world coins and U.S. paper money and currency. Visit KedzieCoins.net to see the full line of available stock, or stop by one of their 3 locations: Kedzie Coins and Jewelry on 59th and Kedzie in Chicago, What a Gem Jewelry and Coins in Berwyn, or their flagship store, Broadway Jewelry and Rare Coins in Kankakee. For more info or an appointment, call 773-436-0777.
I started my business in 1986 and began paying employees. I would handwrite checks and say, "Here you go, don't cash it until Tuesday." That came to a screeching halt when a teenage employee said his dad wanted to see his pay stub. Pay stub? We don't have pay stubs. Get back to work. He said, "Dad works for the government and state law requires I receive a pay stub." Uh-oh. Hi, I'm Mike Capel, CEO of Patriot Software. After many emergency calls, I learned how to correctly withhold payroll taxes and create pay stubs. I avoided handcuffs and an orange jumpsuit that day, barely. That's why I created Patriot Software, to help small business owners do their payroll taxes correctly with pay stubs. And if you need help, we will help you for free. Go to patriotsoftware.com and enter promo code RADIO, and I'll give you 2 months of payroll processing free. That's patriotsoftware.com. 8:07.
Let's get an update on the early morning roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Hundreds of flights are once again canceled at Chicago's airports due to the weather conditions. Inbound Eden says delays starting at Cicero. 25 minutes, Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 37. The Kennedy, it's an hour and 7 minutes, O'Hare to downtown. 35 minutes from Montrose, 30 in the Express, outbound 42 to O'Hare. On Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, 390 to downtown, 47 minutes from Manheim, outbound 50 minutes to 390. Stevenson, an hour and 14 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 38 minutes. Ryan is 35 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, 30 minutes, I-80 to the Burge, Bishopford 42. Westbound Tri-State jam, Southwest Highway to 31st after the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center, here's our meteorologist, Steve Williams.
A wind chill advisory in effect today. Windy and much colder. Times of sun and clouds. The high today only 3. Clear, breezy, and quite cold tonight. The low at minus 24. Sunny, brisk, a bitter cold day tomorrow with a high at minus 13. I'm Steve Williams on AM 560, The Answer.
Sunshine and 2 below at O'Hare, 2 above along the lakefront, 0 at Midway, and minus 3 in Aurora. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Watch today's show live right now on the Income Store live video stream at 560theanswer.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy say the union address set for February 5th.
A week from today.
Yeah. And in the interim, this was interesting. Did you see this? A group of wives of Border Patrol agents invited Nancy Pelosi to come down and visit them. We'd like to show you around. You don't need to bring any security detail. Our husbands, boyfriends, fiancés, wives, significant others are actually very good at their jobs, thank goodness. It's really important to have our leaders come here and see what's happening first. It's important to meet with the people who are here on a daily basis that are witnessing it, the effects of it that it has on our country. So one invitation begets another. Nancy Pelosi's invitation for the president to give his State of the Union address, and Border Patrol significant others inviting Nancy Pelosi to come down and see what their significant others do in defense of our southern border. Huh.
That's good.
Yeah, how about that? How does that frame the next week and the next 2.5 weeks up until that February 15th deadline before we do partial shutdown theater redux? And, oh, by the way, just marking upon the weather, we're only 23 days from the beginning of spring training.
Oh, yeah.
So think about that when you have the endure the historic cold tomorrow. For more on this topic, somebody who knows what date spring training starts, we're pleased to be joined by Pulitzer Prize-winning editorialist, Washington Post columnist, George Will. George, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Glad to be with you. I don't know when the Cubs and Sox go, but the Washington Nationals go on February 13th to spring training.
Boy.
So there are even fewer days than you said.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're reporting early this year.
Even more optimistic. Yeah, good. And where's Bryce Harper going to go before we get into politics?
He's probably going to be a Philly.
Oh, that's not. It's disappointing for the Southside fan.
Sorry for you, Dan.
Yeah. All right.
I'm a Cub fan.
George Will, let's talk a little bit about the State of the Union address as somebody who is steeped in speechcraft. What do you think would behoove the president the most in terms of offering during his State of the Union speech? Perhaps reissuing the broad outlines of the compromise he proposed the weekend before last, or something else?
If he wants to dwell on that, that would be the answer, I suppose. I think by the time he gives the State of the Union address, he is going to be made aware that Republicans in the Senate particularly, but in Congress generally, are not going to stand for another shutdown. And one of the reasons the president had to cave and fold his cards in the last one was that there was brewing an incipient revolt in the Senate. I think it would come much quicker this time. The Republicans are just not going to do this again.
Well, do you think that the ground stoppages along the eastern seaboard had anything to do with it?
Sure did. I mean, everyone knew that the American economy and the American convenience, the American happiness depends on air travel nowadays. And this is leaving out the possibility that there could have been a mid-air tragedy that would have brought down the wrath of the country on the entire political class. So prudence dictated this.
Well, with respect to Republicans revolting, there are a lot more Republican incumbent senators up in 2020 than there are Democrats, and barring something unforeseen at this juncture, President Trump is more likely than not to be the party's nominee. So how does Trump, as well as those Republican senators, go into 2020 not having delivered on a core promise?
Well, the core promise is central to the faith that the hardcore Trump base holds for the president. But that's not most of the Republican vote. It's not even most of the Trump vote. And the Trump vote, remember, we lose sight of the obvious here, that he lost the popular vote last time by about 5 times more than George W. Bush lost the popular vote to Al Gore. Since then, the president has done next to nothing to expand his base, while he has been attending to the strongest desires of his base. So he stands at this point to go into the 2020 election with an approval rating in the low 40s at best, and you'd be hard put to find a time in American history when a president seeking re-election succeeded with those numbers.
Well, what Democrat do you think, if any, could take him down?
Any Democrat that tries not to frighten the American people.
Well, that's a tall order for the Democrats these days.
It certainly is. Abba Eban, the great Israeli diplomat, once said of the Palestinians, they never miss an opportunity to miss an opportunity. And it could be that the Democrats will do so this time.
And it seems
if they go to the American people saying free stuff, free college, guaranteed job for everybody, Medicare for all, which means, by the way, if you like your employer-provided health insurance, too bad, because you're not going to be able to keep it. And they go on and on about this, abolish ICE, impeach the president. They could scare enough people back into the arms of Donald Trump to reelect him. I think, however, that what we learned in the 2018 midterms was that the Democrats took care to nominate in districts where this was important more centrist candidates, and they did not allow and did not encourage their progressive base to have primaries against these people. So I think the Democrats are having a brief moment of realism.
But with respect to the presidential primary, I think we're closing in on double digits in terms of announced candidates already. And is it your view that the more candidates that are in, and most of them trying to out-left the other, that the more likely it is you're going to get somebody who can't help but go full Maduro in the primary?
Well, I don't know about that. To me, the wild card in all this is a simple matter of scheduling. California, which very often has had its primary in early June when it became an afterthought to a race already settled, has moved it to March 3rd. There will be an enormous trove of delegates even beyond California, but particularly California is going to have, I think, 12% of the convention delegates allocated on March 3rd. Early voting in the California primary begins, I think, the day of the Iowa caucuses. Mm-hmm. So it could be that California will overshadow this, in which case it seems likely that Kamala Harris has what football coaches call schedule luck, except it's not luck. It was provided for her benefit.
Yeah, I don't know if Kamala Harris clears that threshold, though, of not scaring the hell out of the American people. And I think that's what David Frum is getting at, too. He writes in The Atlantic about the prospect of Howard Schultz running as an independent. And, of course, Schultz is drawing a lot of ire from the left that, he would be Ross Perot guaranteeing Trump a re-election in this instance. But Frum argues that actually Schultz's exploration helps the Democrats because it helps them to veer to stop from veering too far to the left, and he actually could save Howard Schultz, could save the Democrat Party from themselves. Is that your analysis, or is that wishful thinking on the part of Frum?
Well, I think it's wishful thinking on the part of Frum and of Schultz, but wishful thinking every once in a while comes true. Schultz would have to use his billions to make of himself a magnetic pole to pull the Democratic Party toward him. I think that may be hard to do, but it's not a bizarre theory.
When do you think we're going to hear about Joe Biden possibly entering the race, and your thoughts on rumors that Hillary Clinton has not ruled out a 2020 run?
Hooray!
Well, Hillary Clinton may not have ruled it out, but the country emphatically has. What they don't want is yet another rehash of the past. And I think that's also going to affect Mr. Biden. I'm afraid Mr. Biden's big moment will be the day he announces, if he announces. It'll be downhill after that. First of all, he has a well-known, documented proclivity for saying odd things that will get him in trouble. Second, he's run twice before. People forget. He tried in 88, and I can't remember the one before after that, but he's tried several times, and he has not been successful.
Yeah, 2008, he ran against Obama, remember?
That's right.
Correct, and I really don't think that that the Democratic nominating electorate this time wants, Democrats are big on recycling, but not recycling candidates forever.
He is George Will, columnist for the Washington Post. Oh, and also I went to Northwestern with his son, Jeff. So, George, please say hi to Jeff. I hope he's doing well.
I'll do it.
All right.
He is.
Good. George Will, thanks so much for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Glad to be with you.
You're the best. Always a pleasure. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM 560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Dan Proft here.
And I'm Amy Jacobson, and we wanted to take a minute to say thanks. Thank you to each and every one of you who participated in our annual Food for the Poor campaign.
Because of you, we were able to raise more than $175,000 to provide food for a year and clean water for life for more than 2,200 children and their families in Haiti.
And we're especially grateful to the many business benefactors who supported this campaign. When you hear their ads on this station, we'd ask that you support their business as a way of thanking them for their generosity. And just because the Christmas season is over
and we're starting a new year, that doesn't mean the need goes away. You can still make a $50 donation to Food for the Poor.
Just call 844-862-4673. That's 844-862-4673.
Or visit 560theanswer.com/food. That's 560theanswer.com/food. And thanks again for your generosity.
National competition for your business is eating away at your customer base faster than you can keep up. It's as if they have a back room of digital marketing minions swallowing your customers one by one. And it's not a pretty sight. What if you could beat them with your own minions? The digital marketing experts of Salem Surround make it happen, surrounding potential customers with your message wherever they engage, search, surf, socialize, or review. Take the mystery of digital marketing out of your busy schedule. Salem Surround delivers the customers so you can run your business, making every digital dollar count towards sales success. When you're ready to reach an endless number of customers and achieve total market penetration for increased ROI, get in touch with Salem Surround. You'll get a free analysis of your digital marketing effectiveness and suggested methods that could dramatically increase your sales. Learn more by logging on to surroundchicago.com. Surroundchicago.com, connecting you with new customers.
Hi, this is Amy Jacobson, and you'll have to wait until spring to get the outside of your house painted, but winter, perfect opportunity to get your interior painted. You know, people walk into my kitchen and ask, Amy, did you get new cabinets? No, I save myself thousands of dollars by simply having them painted by the experts at CertaPro Painters. So cross the first project off your 2019 to-do list. CertaPro Painters will ensure a beautiful transformation of your home. And if you want some help with colors, they've got you covered. In-home with a color consultation or online with their color visualizer. Don't put it off. Time to hire CertaPro Painters, your residential and commercial painting experts. You can schedule a free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C, or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. Get a free estimate at CertaPro.com or call 1-800-GO-CERTA. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
AM 560, The Answer.
So, Amy, tell me about the cookie that's making the left crumble.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Thank you.
This happened yesterday. The owner of Edmonds Bakery in Edmonds, Washington, his name's Ken Bellingham, and he likes to be funny because, you know, Valentine's Day, which I know is a very special day for you, Dan.
He's my
It's
funny
right around-
Valentine.
Yeah, it's right around the corner. So he writes funny things, and he put on one cookie with pink. It's a heart-shaped cookie, a sugar cookie with pink frosting. He wrote something that he thought was funny.
These have always been very popular. Some are a little risque, some are nice. I just try to be funny.
And what he put on the cookie was build that wall.
People were just going off like they don't know anything about me. Yeah, right. You know, and yet I was, you know, supposedly this horrible person. The trouble I got into was I just wrote on one cookie, I wrote, build that wall.
Release the hordes.
Well, what happened is a young lady, Anna Carrera, came in, saw the cookie, and you know what she did? She snapped a photo. And then you know what she did? She put it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram.
And this is the photograph that I took of the cookies, specifically the one that says, build that wall. It's really hard to see words like that.
Oh, it's so hard to see them. It's even harder to hear them and to see them on social media. So you know what we have to do? We got to round up a posse and go lynch the cookie maker.
We were born here, but my parents were the stories that you see on the news of people crossing the border just because they want to have a new start.
And it's just amazing how a sugar cookie with pink frosting could become racial.
You say something with enough hate, you chant it.
Oh my
you
gosh.
have white supremacists, the alt-right chanting it. It's going to become racial.
The racist cookie. That cookie is oppressing me.
So they're going to put a hate has no home sign. Please, hate.
Hate has a home cookie.
A cookie like this does represent that there is some sort of hate coming out of that bakery, whether he chooses to admit it or not.
No, of course.
No,
I'm going to see your build that wall cookie, and I'm going to respond with an intersectional cookie.
So what she should have done is just bought the cookie and just crumbled the cookie and just be done with it. But instead,
And it could have been symbolizing her crumbling Trump's wall of hate.
we should all support him. It's Edmonds Bakery
Performance
in
art.
Edmonds, Washington, because he's gotten so much hate and vitriol on social media, and people are trying to form a solidarity against his store.
Should be in
and
prison.
banning people from going to his store when he was just trying to. It was a flippin' joke.
I did it as a joke, but it was really taken out of context, and it's not anything that I endorse. I don't.
No, now
don't
we
think
have to
building a wall is
apologize.
gonna solve our problems.
Right. Now we
That
have
did
to
make me mad.
apologize.
Well, because
Well,
he's
that's-
getting hate mail and
yeah,
he's getting
yeah,
things
yeah.
taped to his door.
This was on my front door this morning. It says, stop the hate, but this is more hateful than this could ever be.
Yeah, welcome to the reality on the ground. Well, welcome to the lives of the Covington Catholic boys. You think it can't come to you with a cookie or, you know, a joke or a misinterpreted statement of some sort, or somebody that just wants to squash your whiteness at work. I mean, it's remarkable. It started with the Christian bakers and florists, and now it's coming to anybody who has a political position, an issue position that the cultural Marxist mob disagrees with. So, yeah. So unleash the social media mob, unleash the hysterics and the hate mongers, unleash the ignorant and the violent. That's where we're at. That is where we're at. That Edmunds cookie factory, whatever the heck it is.
It's Edmunds Bakery.
No different than Jack Phillips, Masterpiece Cake Shop. No different than Stutzman, the florist.
But it was just one. I mean, he didn't make a dozen of these. Right, it's just
does the number matter?
It's not like he was mass producing. Build that
so
wall.
So what? What if he was? It doesn't matter.
Nice butt. Like he's risque in what he writes on cookies.
The point is, you either stand up to thugs or prepare for the day they come for you. And Tom Brokaw has to apologize for invoking the A word, assimilation, which is the whole point of immigration and what every immigrant group has done in this country's history to be successful in this land of opportunity. That has to, got to walk that back, and that's an apology. Otherwise, Tom Brokaw is going to be, social media'd out of existence, or certainly off the round table at Meet the Press. And it's the same thing with this local proprietor. I don't believe it. I'm sorry. They want you to live life on your knees. Will you?
The wall just got 10 feet higher.
Quick before we go to Mike's news, since we're going to have record-breaking cold here tomorrow, we want to remind you about our trip. It's that time of the year to go to warm and sunny Mexico. This year we're heading to Nuevo Vallarta. It's a suburb of Puerto Vallarta. And we'll be staying there April 6th through the 13th, heading there with our friends from Apple Vacations, and we want you to come along. We're staying at the beautiful Maribel Residences luxury resort in Nuevo Vallarta, Mexico. All-inclusive resort, 10 miles from the airport. It's a beautiful place. All the rooms are 1,400 to 3,900 square feet. That's bigger than my house. It's a small place, 162 spacious, elegantly appointed residence and villas. So they have 6 gourmet restaurants, 2 bars. Dan, for you, 9 golf courses nearby. You can also snorkel, play tennis, head to the spa. Get more information and book your trip by visiting 560theanswer.com/passport. Every year this trip gets bigger and better, and we have couples that return year after year. So join us this year. And the price point that Apple Vacations has secured for this trip is incredible and exclusive to us, but it's only available for a limited time. So act now. Don't miss out. Enjoy a week of Nuevo Vallarta with us, Dan and Amy. Visit 560theanswer.com/passport. Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dramatic reading of retiring Alderman Danny Solis's perspectives on massage parlors and Asian women at 8:38.
Don't forget that little blue pill Viagra. But first, let's get into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunshine, 2 below 0. The cold is on the way. Preparations underway. Brutal cold is shutting down schools and colleges and is delaying things on Metro or outright canceling some trains tomorrow, both on the South Shore and on Metra's schedules. In other stories we're following, 4 Houston police officers are hospitalized. They were shot while trying to serve a search warrant yesterday. 2 are in critical condition. Houston Police Officers Union President Joe Gamaldi.
We are sick and tired of having targets on our back. We are sick and tired of having dirtbags trying to take our lives when all we're trying to do is protect this community and protect our families.
A 5th officer who was injured but not shot is also hospitalized. President Trump's former associate Roger Stone planning to plead not guilty in a D.C. federal courtroom in the Mueller probe today. El Chapo's defense team begins presenting its case today after prosecutors finished a 10-week presentation in a Brooklyn, New York federal courtroom. Lawyers for the accused Mexican drug kingpin are expected to call 2 witnesses today. El Chapo will not be among them. Chicago Sun-Times is reporting that retiring Alderman Danny Solis received sex acts, Viagra, and campaign contributions in exchange for moving city council legislation. That, according to allegations in a federal court affidavit obtained by the Sun-Times. The affidavit also alleges that among those Solis recorded, including Alderman Ed Burke, was Illinois House Speaker Michael Madigan. The family of a Cook County Sheriff's deputy who was killed last week in a crash in Chicago while on his way to work may not receive benefits. Nick Theophanopoulos, who is being buried today, was in uniform last Monday when a drunken driver struck him in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood. The deputy's co-workers say the sheriff's department has determined their colleague was technically not on duty. The White Sox are teaming up with Goose Island Beer to add a special section at Guaranteed Rate Field next season. The Goose Island section, set to open in the right field bleachers. First few rows will have modernized game day experiences like charging ports, cushioned seats, and television screens. Bears have signed kicker Radford Jones. Bulls in Brooklyn tonight play the Nets, while in college hoops, Notre Dame lost to number 2 Duke. The news, a service of P3 portable protein packs. It's a more interesting way to get protein on hectic mornings. Well, say hello to P3 portable protein packs, the perfect high-protein snack for on the go. Combination of meat, cheese, nuts will have you ready to take on the day. Grab the more interesting way to get your protein with P3. 8:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Dennis Prager believes teachers' unions are part of the problem.
One is allowed to chew gum and walk at the same time. Understand how destructive teachers' unions are without having animosity toward all teachers. Teachers' unions are destructive forces in America. They're dark forces. Sorry. Some wonderful people are members of the dark force, the teachers' union.
The Dennis Prager Show. Weekdays at 11, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
My name is David Hochberg of Team Hochberg, and I have exciting news. To provide listeners with more financing options and lower rates, Team Hochberg is now originating loans for Homeside Financial. Team Hochberg, Chicago-based loan officers, support staff, and in-house underwriters allows us to process and approve loans within days of receiving complete files from our borrowers. I'll be highlighting proprietary loan programs like doing a cash-out refinance up to 95% of the value of your home with a minimum credit score of 680 and construction to permanent loans on both FHA and VA loans. Team Hochberg's new toll-free number is 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-563-2843. Or visit our new website, 56david.com. Team Hochberg has helped thousands of AM 560 listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-56-DAVID. That's 855-563-2843. Or visit our new website, 56david.com. Homeside Financial, Equal Housing Lender, Illinois Residential Mortgage Licensee, MB 66761019, NMLS 1124061.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
8:36. Let's get an update on the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
CTA Red and Brown Line trains are standing at Belmont due to mechanical problems. It's heavy on the inbound Kennedy starting at Nagel. An hour and 10 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 40 minutes from Montrose, 33 in the Express. Eden's 21 minutes like Cook to Kennedy, outbound 42. At Eisenhower, an hour and 13 minutes, 390 to downtown, 52 minutes from Manheim. Stevenson, an hour 14, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Ryan is 40 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 26 minutes, I-80 to the Merge, Bishop Ford, 44. Southbound Tri-State delays are 120 to Bradley, and from the Eisenhower to Roosevelt. Northbound 95th to 31st, and from the Reagan Tollway to Balmoral, The other tollways are heavy too. That's traffic. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560 The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning Weather Center. Clouds and sun through the morning. Windy, much colder. Some of that cold would be very extreme. A high of 3. We've already reached that today, and we've been tumbling since. Breezy, frigid, extreme cold overnight. Dangerous cold in some spots. A low of 24 below. Mostly sunny, and a high tomorrow of only minus 13. It is 2 below at O'Hare, 2 above along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 9. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by On Target Radio. From firearms and Second Amendment rights to personal freedoms and government intrusions. Listen here Sunday nights at 9.
If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. And 30 days before the mayoral primary, and it looks like Ed Burke may be just the first kingpin to fall. Maybe wishful thinking. Stories in the Sun-Times out this morning about Danny Solis. He spent the last 20 years as a member of the city council. He announced his retirement back in November.
I have his cell phone. Should we call him?
Sure.
Maybe text him first.
And it turns out, per documents filed by federal investigators, that they were looking into Danny Solis as far back as, at least as far back as May of 2014. 120-page affidavit shows federal investigators listened in on more than 18,000 conversations on one of Solis' cell phones over the course of at least a year, also conducting surveillance on his private meetings and trips to massage parlors. For example, in late 2014, Solis placed a series of calls and texts to this political henchman friend of his named Roberto Caldero, asking if he had any of that blue medicine.
Meaning Viagra.
Yeah.
Well, Caldera had explained that the Affordable Care Act had made it more difficult to get Viagra because the price had climbed to $400 for 10 pills, Dan, which surprised Danny Solis. He was like, what?
Obamacare strikes again. Boy.
Now it's affecting your alderman's pleasure pulse.
Yeah, this is the real tragedy of Obamacare. In July of 2015, Solis called Caldera with another request. I want to get a good massage with a nice ending. Do you know any good place?
Can I play the role of Caldero?
Sure.
What kind of women do they got there? Oh, no, that was bad. Well, what kind of woman do you want? As he asked him.
Well, no, that's what he asked. No, what kind of women do they got there? That's what he asked. Okay. Solis asked, according to Caldero, according to the recorded conversation memorialized in this federal filing. Solis asked Caldero what kind of women. Caldero said Asian, and Solis said, oh, good, I like Asian. I don't know if that was included in the conversation, but
I couldn't resist.
What is Two Live Crew up to these days?
I don't know. That's a very good question.
Caldero acknowledged providing Solis with Viagra, arranging massage parlor visits, but he did so out of friendship because, hey.
Not to curry a favor for a client.
That's what friends do. Caldero, also a close associate of El Gaito. No word on what massage parlors El Gaito may or may not have visited. Danny Solis is important because Danny Solis was always also wired up on Burke, who was also being surveilled by feds. And...
oh, there's more?
Wait for it. Danny Solis and Mike Madigan intersect. These court filings also reveal that in addition to the conversation Solis secretly recorded that he had with Burke, Solis was a conduit to a meeting that was set up between House Speaker Mike Madigan and a local developer to build a hotel in Chinatown.
Did you say Chinatown?
That's gratuitous. Okay, and the point here is that the FBI was recording that meeting that Madigan had with the developer. They sent in somebody who is an undercover asset of the FBI.
Oh.
Madigan not facing any criminal charges at present. Recorded by an associate of the developer during a meeting at Madigan's law office that Solis had arranged, according to federal filings. Madigan suggesting they wanted a long-term relationship with the developer. Solis adding that he, the developer, is going to benefit from being with the speaker. The FBI alleging in the affidavit, quote, I understand Solis to mean that by hiring Madigan's private law firm, the developer would ensure that Solis and Madigan would take official action benefiting the developer in their capacity as public officials. Now, I mean, I hate to be a stickler here, but technically using your public position for the private benefit of your legal clients, for example, is illegal. Madigan's attorney issued a fun statement.
Oh, yeah. How are they responding to this?
The speaker recalls attending several meetings with Alderman Solis in the past 5 years, including meetings with individuals in need of legal representation. Well, sure. I mean, he's a giving guy. Right, yeah. He's very concerned about helping people in need. If indeed some of those conversations were being recorded, the speaker did not know that, but he has no concern if they were, just as Ed Burke has no concern. That's my parenthetical remark. The speaker has no recollection of ever suggesting that he would take official action for a private law firm client or potential client. To our knowledge, I love the qualifiers, neither the speaker nor his law firm is under investigation. And by the way, this was tweeted out by Amanda Vinicky, who's on like Chicago Tonight on Wilmette talking to Winnetka.
Oh, yeah.
Formerly AP. The joke that is the Chicago Political Press Corps. Madigan's attorney is quoted in the story saying there's no indication Madigan nor his property tax appeals law firm is under investigation, and that Madigan himself did no wrong. Yeah, okay, well, I guess that's settled if that's the official statement, right, Amanda? Let's just ignore the fact that the federal government set in an undercover asset, but technically he's not under investigation as far as they know, number one. And I love this statement, too. No recollection of ever suggesting that he would take official action for a private law firm client, even though we know that's what he's been doing for the better part of 4 decades. I understand you have to prove it in a court of law. I understand you need evidence, and that's been the hang-up. But I just love the qualifier, no recollection of ever suggesting he would take official action for a private client. That's not the same thing as a categorical denial, is it?
And I hear this is just the beginning. One of my sources said there are going to be a lot of aldermen who are going to be turning on each other, kind of like what Danny Solis did, because he was under pressure because he's, getting the blue pill and going to massage parlors.
Like any crime family falls apart, all the rats start turning on one another.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how it should go down. And I hope it does go down. No, I don't think, everybody, Madigan goes away and, the sky opens up and it's a brand new day in Illinois and Chicago. I don't think so. Does it unleash a bottleneck with respect to taking out the most powerful political person in the state? Sure. Does it change the political culture here, though? Does it? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. And answer that question in the context of your choices on February 26th for mayor of Chicago. And answer that question in the context of the balance of power in Springfield. And answer that question in the context of the non-existence of the surrender Illinois Republican Party that has surrendered itself right off the stage. Does it change the culture, even if you were to get Madigan? I mean, I'd love to see it, obviously, just because there can be no rebirth without a reckoning, and the Madigan reckoning is a big part of that. But if you think that changes your reality on the ground in the state, I think that is overly optimistic. Chuck in Delavan, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
All I do is call your program and complain about the people from Chicago coming up here to Lake Geneva and driving the price of beer up Now, it breaks my heart to find out that you guys down there, you got your aldermen, are driving the price up a little blue pill.
Yeah.
It makes it so much harder on people up here in Wisconsin for guys like me that are trying to pick these girls up to come up and visit on the weekend.
Oh, boy.
I'm sorry to hear that, Chuck. Thank you for that call.
Speaking of the mayoral race, you had your candidates forum on Saturday. And how did it end? Who do you think was the winner in that?
Well, it's important to note this was sponsored by the Northwest Side Republican Club, one of the few Republican organizations that actually exists in substance, not just on paper. And half a dozen candidates showed up. So these are the candidates that are making a formal appeal to center-right voters. And it should be recognized. And you should factor in the Burke Four, as they're being called by most of these other candidates.
Oh, that's sweet.
Daley, Preckwinkle, Mendoza, and Chico, who were not there in terms of thinking about, and McCarthy wasn't either, in terms of thinking about who, as a center-right voter, you might want to support. Because, again, your support could be determinative when it's a race to 15%, maybe less than that to get to the runoff. And so LaShawn Ford and Paul Vallis and Jerry Joyce and Willie Wilson and John Kozlar and Bob Fioretti were the candidates who showed up. And it was interesting. There were some differences of opinion on things like charter school moratorium, some differences of opinion on tax increases, where new taxes like commuter tax, Fioretti's proposed, lowering taxes. Willie Wilson's the only one who consistently says we need to lower taxes. And some differences of opinion on a couple of other fronts we'll get to in just a second. Don in Bloomingdale, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Nothing changes in Illinois, Dan, until we go insolvent, because as long as we got people at Mesereau and the three-piece mafia that continues to lend the state money at 14 and 17%, it's not going to change. But the one good thing, Dan, is my neighbors are talking about it, and they weren't a couple years ago. And our taxes are going to go through the ceiling until it finally just implodes, but they're talking about it.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Don. I mean, I generally agree with that. I think you just have I don't know, like I said, the most virulent strain of Stockholm Syndrome in the Western world is here in Chicago and Illinois.
Oh, yeah.
And until there's a cataclysmic event, I just don't think enough people are going to wake up. Ralph and Rantoul.
Yeah, good morning, Dan and Amy. This cataclysmic event would be what's necessary is like a political neutron bomb, okay, like they used to talk about, where all the corrupt people get blown out all at once. The problem is this, though. If it, let's say it were to happen, I don't think there are enough competent Republicans around that would know how to get things done. They've been the minority party for so long. I don't think they'd be able to effectively function, keep things in the city functioning. And as far as it's going to take a couple generations of this, because there are way, way, way too many stupid people voting in Chicago. The guy who just called, he may have some smart neighbors who are kind of maybe beginning to think about why their taxes are so high. Maybe it could be all the corruption in Illinois for the past 50 or 100 years. But there are too few of them, and there are not very many bright ones that are learning fast about anything.
I agree that the roots run deep. Thanks for the call, Ralph. And it's going to take more than even a Madigan removal to pull up this culture from its roots. No question about it. Now, one fun moment during the forum on Saturday.
This is great.
This was Paul Vallis and LaShawn Ford. And the question was interesting. It was posed by Matt Podgorski, who we had on the show last week, who's the president of the Northwest Side GOP Club. He asked the question of all the candidates, yes or no?
Just a yes or no answer. You can't explain yourself.
Correct.
Okay.
Would you do this deal? $25 million for the city from Trump if you would work with ICE and ICE detainers to remove people from the city who are here illegally and commit a crime in addition to being here illegally. Sort of a de facto repeal of Sanctuary City, but the question was $25 million. Will you cooperate with ICE? Yes or no?
What did LaShawn Ford say?
I think LaShawn said no.
And then Willie Wilson said yes.
I think Fioretti said no.
Yeah.
I can't remember what Willie Wilson said. And then it got to Paul Vallis, who wanted to offer an explanation before he answered yes or no. And LaShawn Ford wasn't having any of it.
And they actually got out of their chairs.
Time out. Go to your corners. Look, LaShawn. No.
second. Let me speak. Paul, let me speak.
I've lost control.
LaShawn,
Paul,
please, hold on. Listen. The question was posed as yes or no, and LaShawn said no, and Bob said yes, and Willie said, I don't know. Just yes or no, would you take that deal? Yes or no?
No, my answer.
Yes or no? Come on.
Yes or no, Paul?
No, just yes or no. Or pass.
Yes.
Yeah, we got a yes. There we go. So LaShawn said no. Fiorelli said yes. Willie, I don't remember what Willie said, and then Paul ultimately said yes. But it's kind of an interesting question, and it was spirited. But I do give those guys credit for showing up and making an appeal and recognizing that 15 to 20% of the Chicago electorate is center right in perspective. And again, 14 candidates, a race to 15%, as it's perceived to be right now. Center right voters can make a difference. So good on the Northwest Side GOP for assembling the forum and the candidates for showing up and at least participating in a meaningful way.
Yeah, who won the straw poll?
I'm not at liberty to discuss that.
Well, you can't discuss it.
And that's for the Northwest Side GOP to release at their leisure. I don't know. I didn't do the
Maybe my guy Paul Vallis would. I'm just kidding.
He missed you there as a cheerleader. He was expecting you to
give me a V, give me an A.
Be leading the rousing cheers for Paul in the audience. But it was well attended. It was good.
I like him.
Yeah. All right. So there you go. 30 days out. At least you had almost half the field make an appeal to people that think math is more than just an opinion. So maybe that's a start too.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Raj Shah, host of Secure Retirement Radio.
I spoke to one person and, I asked him a simple question is, what do you want to do with your retirement? And he said, I want to protect it. Because if it does go down and not come back, do you have enough time in the market to recover those losses?
Tune in for Secure Retirement Radio with Raj Shah, Chicago's safe money strategist. Sunday mornings at 7 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area. Sponsored by the Illinois Army National Guard, aired by the Illinois Broadcasters Association at this station.
Pain drugs are addictive and have side effects. Get off the drugs, get rid of the pain. You don't need to live with chronic pain. Let's repeat, you do not have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, from an accident or pain that just develops. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the most respected and successful pain doctors in the world. Dr. Candido will work to find the source of your chronic pain and fix it. He teaches pain management around the world and has been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Okay, you get it. He's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido, Chicago anesthesia and pain specialist, will help you get off the pain medication and all of its side effects.